Okay, welcome. Hello, all. I'm Mark Diaz Truman from Magpie Games, and I'm here for GauntletCon 2018. Woo! I'm very excited. Last year's GauntletCon was kind of a special thing for me to see all these folks coming together, so I'm really happy to be back for year two or three or however many GauntletCons it's been. But this year, I'm running Zombie World for these fine Gauntleteers here. We'll be playing in the Enclave the Hospital Enclave, which is one of the two enclaves that's available in the core set for Zombie World. We're also going to be using Roll20, which is sort of an online system, if you're not familiar with it, for, usually for running a lot of D&D, but we're going to use it to have cards, digital cards in digital space for these fine Gauntleteers. So I'm really excited to try this system out, and it's something we're excited to get out to people. Like probably in the next 3 to 4 months, we're going to be making it available through Roll20. So let's just introduce ourselves real quick. Horst, do you want to say a quick hello?
I'm Horst from Amsterdam. Hello.
Excellent. And Jesse?
Hey, I'm Jesse from Minneapolis.
Great. Mikhail?
I'm Mikael, I'm from Norway.
And last but not least, Patrick.
I'm Patrick. I'm here in South Carolina.
It's a very, very international game, which is kind of cool. I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico, here at Magpie HQ, which, as you can tell, we've spent all the money on this shelf. Apparently, it's very fancy, very very fancy office. So Zombie World is set in a sort of Walking Dead like Night of the Living Dead kind of universe. All of you are survivors. You've made it through Z-Day, which was the end of civilization. Things have fallen. You're not sure if they will ever return, although some people probably hold out hope that the military will save them and life may get back to normal. But it's starting to become clear to you all that it is Zombie World. It is their world now and not yours. And the best you can do is to build some community of the people that you actually live and work with right now here in your immediate enclave. And while it may not be the wisest enclave in the sense that it's in the middle of a big city, you have managed to hold yourself up at a hospital. And we're going to make some decisions about that hospital before we start, basically, like before we build characters and things like that. So you all are going to have a lot to say about what the hospital is like. But in some ways, the Enclave is like the true, real character of Zombie World. If one of you dies, that's cool. Like Lost style or Walking Dead style, we'll bring another cast member in, no problem. Like they'll just, another B plot character will suddenly become an A plot character, and we'll all mourn your death. I mean, unless you're a total jerk, in which case we'll all celebrate it. But there is kind of an infinite number of people around, except there's only 50 of you. 40 of you or 30 of you, however many have survived. And there's always people coming out of the woods, right? Coming out of the city, sort of, joining the cast of our show when it becomes time for us to have new characters. But the Enclave is going to stay the same, at least until some major plot development where we'd have to leave. But this Enclave is the core of our story together. And so the cards, we have the sort of the front of the card here, and I'll see if I can put it up for everybody. Cool. The front of the card is here, and it's got, like, you could totally have a helicopter if that's a thing you'd like to have. It has a couple of moves, which we'll talk about in a minute, but the main thing is that we're going to choose some scarcity, surroundings, population, and advantages in order for us to get started. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have each of you choose one of those or two of those things one at a time. So we'll start with Patrick. And Patrick, what I want you to do is just pick one of them off the list. I'll talk a little bit about them before you have to choose. But the idea is that each one of these is going to say something significant about the Enclave. So a scarcity, for example, you start with a scarcity of security, meaning the hospital is a very insecure environment to start. But you might also have a scarcity of privacy, meaning that, like, you're all kind of living on top of each other, or a scarcity of food, meaning that you have struggled to make sure everybody has enough to eat. Your surroundings tell you about what other things exist in the area. So what are some of the places that you might see opposition come out of, or trades be established, or resources from? And then population tells us a little bit about some of the people that live here. It's not everybody. Like some of you, we may find out that you are the expert doctor if somebody chooses that. But it's really like these are some of the people that we're going to meet as we introduce the enclave. And then finally, you have some advantages. The advantages are very clear. Like these things are things that matter to your enclave. If you have generators, it means that there are times where if you had electricity, you'd be able to overcome an obstacle you wouldn't otherwise be able to overcome. If you have a helipad, it means you have a working helicopter. These things are both fictionally useful, but they also come with moves. Okay? And then once we figure out what our hospital looks like, I'm going to deal you out cards to determine who you are. So unlike a regular game, you don't get to say, well, I'm a Navy SEAL, because we're all Navy SEAls. Everybody that survived the zombie apocalypse is a Navy SEAL. Instead, you might just be an accountant or an EMT or some buddy who got lucky as they made their way through the apocalypse. So we're going to build our hospital, and then we'll build our characters. Cool? All right. So, Patrick, why don't you pick one of these scarcities, surroundings, or populations for me?
I'm just always a sucker for like post-apocalyptic mall scenes, so I think a major mall.
Oh, that's great. Cool. Yeah, the mall is great too because it's a great place to go scavenge, right? Like there's going to be tons and tons of stuff there, and also, of course, shoppers. Many shoppers. Cool. Mikhail, how about you? Pick one off the list for me.
I'm gonna say we have a scarcity of food.
Great. Cool. So why have you had a scarcity of food? Is it too many mouths to feed? Have you had trouble finding supplies in the nearby mall? What's led to this scarcity?
Yeah, I think probably there wasn't a lot of canned food, so things got spoiled pretty quickly.
Okay, cool. So you had some fresh food. Obviously the hospital had stores of things, but it all kind of went through, and you've had trouble finding enough food to keep everybody satiated.
Yep.
Cool. Great. Let's see, Jesse, why don't you go and pick one for me?
I would like to pick that we have an expert doctor in our population.
Awesome. We're going to leave that a little vague because, again, maybe one of you is that expert doctor. We'll find out. But it means that there's not only a group of surviving patients, the people who couldn't be moved, but also at least one doctor is stuck around or has come to the hospital because he or she used to work here or something like that. Someone is around who has some real skills. Horst, how about you?
My favorite movie is Dawn of the Dead, so we need a helipad.
Okay. Awesome. Good. So the helipad, as an advantage, has this particular card. So we're going to go ahead and grab that card now and take a look at it. So we've got all of our cool little advantages here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to choose the helipad. So when you take your chopper out to survey the area, draw survival. On a hit, the GM will tell you an important or interesting detail you notice from above. On a triumph, you can ask a follow-up question. So like Apocalypse World, a hit is it's going to be a card that says hit on it, but it's kind of the mid-level. A triumph is like your 10+. It's like this worked out great for us. So you can go out and scout the area, look for resources, look for supplies in the helipad, and as long as you don't draw a miss, then you won't attract much attention because it's hard to figure out where you're going to and where you're coming from when you're flying, right? But on a miss, some folks are going to notice that you're around. It's perfect. Good. Okay, cool. So let's go back to the top of our order. So Patrick, go ahead and pick one of the remaining options.
I think, a city official in our population.
Awesome, cool. All right, so some folks from the city have managed to hang out here. Let's go ahead and mark that down, and then we'll define a little bit more about those when we define the characters. One of you again might be one of those people. All right, and Mikhail, how about you?
Let's say there is a ruined part of the city in the surroundings.
Awesome. What makes it ruined, Mikhail?
I think it was like a big fire during the initial outbreak where people looted stuff and went all riotty, and yeah.
I love it. There's like this part of the city that a normal fire that would have been put out by the fire department wouldn't have been that big a deal, but instead it just ravaged a whole section of the city.
Yeah.
That's cool. Very cool. Do people still go there? Like, are there reasons to go there?
I mean, I think the reason there was stuff, well, there was the right things there is that there used to be a lot of resources there like this. It's a central part of the city. So
Okay.
probably if you find something that isn't burnt,
Yeah.
you have good chances of finding things there.
It also occurs to me that there might not be a lot of zombies there because they all would have gotten burned up, right? Because they can't like run away. So maybe it's a little less zombie infested, even though it's ruined. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse, how about you?
So I see we already have 2 scarcities. Are we supposed to pick one more though?
There will be
We
3
get 3?
scarcities
Okay.
and like there are 3 population. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay, cool. So I think we have a scarcity of weapons.
Okay, cool. So what happened to the weapons that maybe the security guards and people had here? Were there just not enough of them, or did they get taken when people were looting?
I think they've been used up, whatever we had at some point.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. Ammo, guns may be plentiful, but ammo is hard to find, right? Like
Right,
it's tough.
yeah.
Cool. All right, Horst, you get to pick any of the other advantages. So although there's only one more category to pick from, any of those remaining 3 are up for grabs.
Let's see. We have generators.
Great. Generators, actually, in this, they have an interesting mechanic because they will allow you to basically bank a triumph that you can use in an appropriate instance. So pull that up here, generators. So when you check and tune up the generators, draw survival. On a hit, you can use your electricity as a triumph on any relevant move. So what that means is that you actually get to put a triumph to the side and you can use it when it's time, especially like if you're doing an operation on somebody and you want to make sure that there's enough light and you want to make sure that this goes smoothly, that your expert doctor can do the job. So cool. Okay, so we have finished our setup. 2 quick things. You've got 2 moves here that you can use because you're in the hospital. So the first one is medical facilities. When you use the appropriate medical facilities to save someone's life, you draw survival. That's generally not possible. If somebody's dying, there are no medical facilities at the prison. There are no medical facilities at the amusement park. That person just dies. But here, you have a shot to save somebody's life. And on a miss, the GM tells you how their body is damaged. They don't just die. They have a chance to stay alive by paying an extreme cost. So there's really good facilities here. You also have a lost ward, which means part of the hospital is just chained up. You've never cleared it of zombies. You've never made it better. You've just accepted that that part of the hospital is lost. If you get rid of zombie parts there, if you throw your dead into that ward, you get to draw with survival instead of savagery. So it's easier for you if you're a survival character to get rid of those body parts into that part of the ward. Okay, cool. So now we're going to get to the part where we make our characters. We have a sense of what our hospital is. Before we move on, does anybody have a proposal for the name of the hospital? Typically, we set things. I think the South is always, South Mid-Atlantic is always fun because it's not too cold. So the zombies are active year round. So I think we'll go with that. So think about it kind of like, anywhere from Baltimore to down to Florida kind of thing. Any ideas for a name?
What about something classic, just like Mercy Hospital?
I mean, Mercy Hospital is great. It has the kind of double meaning for this thing. I like it. Yeah, it's also probably would be a good name for like the TV show that we're doing. Right? It's the Mercy Hospital, but it's got like the zombie hand grabbing and stuff, right? So cool. Yeah, I'll add that in. Before I do that, though, I'm going to go ahead and get started with character creation. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to deal you 1 past card. This card is supposedly going to be face down for you. So you can see it, but none of the rest of us, including myself, you do not have to reveal it right away. You can reveal it if you meet the condition for revealing it on the card. So let's draw 1 past, and I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and draw 1 card. I think just let me grab it here. Cool. Oops. Flip it over. Okay, it's the back of a card. I don't like that. Let's deal a card to me. Cool. So when I get a card, you can see I have it right here. It says my one passed card. If you all click on it, you can't see it, can you? It's blocked. Awesome. Good. Cool. I can see it. And if you look here, it'll say psychiatrist. To reveal this card, tell another survivor how you are worried about someone's stability. Meaning that for me, this card is face down, but when I meet that condition, I flip it over. Okay. So it's revealed when I meet that condition. While it's revealed, I get to do this thing. When I open up to someone, which is one of the basic moves, I get to pick an additional option because I'm the psychiatrist. Until it's flipped over, it doesn't count. Right? It's not real yet. So if you have something that gives you a bonus to a stat or gives you an additional ability, you don't get that ability until you reveal yourself in play. Now, you might say, why would I not reveal myself? Well, to help or interfere with people is dependent on how many cards they have revealed. So it is much easier to interfere with you if you have a lot of, you're an open book. Everybody knows you're the doctor who now works as the community's diplomat who has been traumatized in this way. It's easy to mess with you. But when you kind of hold your cards close to the vest, it's harder to interfere with what you're doing. It's also harder to help you. Okay, make sense? Cool. All right, great. So I'm going to put this card back in the deck, and then we're going to deal each of you a card. Then we're going to move on to presents. A present is your current relationship, like you, the current thing you do for the colony. So we'll start here with this one. Shuffle the deck, and then we're going to deal one card to Kale, Jesse, Worst, and PK. Okay. Bam. You all have cards. Okay. So while you're thinking about your past, we're going to go ahead and give you a present. Now remember that past you may not have done that your whole life. You may have other things that are true about you, but that's a significant part of your past for our story. For the present, I'm going to give you 2 cards. Okay? You get to pick between those 2 cards. So for example, if I deal myself 1 card, I have here Diplomat. Diplomat would give me +1 soul. We'll talk about that in a second. And it gives me a way to clear stress. So a present is almost always just positive. Like it's a way of telling us what role you fill in the enclave. You get 2 of them because you get to choose between them. So for example, if I deal myself a second one of these, I get to decide whether I want to be the diplomat or I would prefer to be the mediator. Those are kind of similar, but they're different from each other. One of them is about making deals. The other is about resolving conflicts. Sometimes you'll get 2 that are really different from each other. Like you could be the diplomat or you could be the cook or the tyrant or whatever other role might fit what you're looking for. Okay, so you're going to pick one of these 2 roles. Call all these, shuffle it up, and deal 2 cards to each player. Okay, so think about which of these 2 cards you might want to do. Now, this card you'll notice is face up, and that's because everybody knows what role you play in the enclave. You can't keep it secret. Like if you're the cook, then everybody knows you're the cook. Okay? So think about which one of those you want. And when you're done with whatever card you don't want, go ahead and put it back on the table. Let's put a stack of them here. You should just be able to drag it out onto the table. Okay, cool. And then finally, you're going to get a trauma. Traumas they're bad for you in the sense that they describe ways in which your character is struggling since the apocalypse, but they really tell you about like how your character deals with problems. Like, so in some ways, they might tell you when you clear stress, which we'll talk about in a minute. They might give you some bonuses to a stat. In this one, if I'm cold, when it's revealed, when it becomes really a part of the fiction, I can't open up to anybody and no one can open up to me. So I just lose a basic move to gone. But I get +2 ongoing to commit violence against a vulnerable target, which means I draw 2 extra cards to hurt people. Right? Now that's just because I've internalized the trauma of the fall of society. It's up to you to represent that in play. Okay? Now this card I can reveal anytime I want to reveal it, right? But when I do reveal it, all these things come into play. Make sense? Cool? All right, great. Let's get everybody their trauma cards. Boom. And I will go ahead and make a discard pile here. Oh, sorry, no, you don't need to discard. You got your one. You're good. All right, cool. So those are your 3 cards. Now, if you look in your handouts thing, there is a little sheet for your player mat. You can see that you have 4 stats you're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and add a little character for each player. I'm just going to go ahead and make them all editable. So go ahead and change the name on the one you want to grab so you can record whatever stats you need to record. I will say, yeah, if you actually, can you guys add them yourselves? That might be even better. Or maybe not if you can.
I'm sorry, do what?
I'm going to go ahead and add a bunch of characters here. And then each of you can grab one. So, for example, Mikhail, why don't you grab Zate No, rename the character, and add your stats to that file. And Jesse, you can grab Lestris Ausabru. I don't know, these are just totally made up names. And Horst, you can grab Cole Lotz. And Patrick, you can grab Ban Krabu. And just change the name to something that's easy for you to remember. But what you're going to want to do is note down your savagery, soul, steel, and survival, and then your stress track. That's basically all you need. For each one of those stats, there are basic moves. They also affect the zombie moves. So basically, savagery is about your violence, force of will. It's kind of like Hard in Apocalypse World or Blood in Urban Shadows. It's about your ability to kind of force other people to do what you want or enact violence. Soul is about opening up to people, connecting with them, reading them, being a part of a community. Steel is about your will, your ability to hold strong and hold steady. And then survival is about your ability to get through, get by, rig up stuff, survive day after day. Okay, you put one of those stats at 3, and 2 of them at 2, and 1 at 1. If anybody has a card that would give them a +1 that is already revealed, they can add it in now. So, for example, Mikhail is the mediator. Whenever he chooses for his steel, he's going to add +1 to it. Cool. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. Cool. Now, in addition to your stats, you also get allies. Now, an ally is somebody who has worked with you before, has built a relationship with you, is somebody who implicitly trusts you quite a bit. Meaning that it's not just somebody who kind of knows you. It's somebody that when you ask them to do something, as long as it's not suicidal or just really dumb, they're going to do it. If you say, hey, can you go get this thing for me? They're like, yeah, I'll help you out, whatever I can do. So in addition to the cards I've already given you, I'm also going to deal you a survivor. So I can use these as NPCs or, in this case, allies. Now, if you look at mine, this is a sample one. This is Danny Delgado. He's a bike courier. He's got these skills. He's got this equipment. If you send him to do a thing, those skills and equipment are going to matter. His speed and stealth and empathy are going to matter to what he accomplishes. So you can think about, like, what will this person be good at? So if I send Danny to go kill somebody, it's like, it's dicey. If I send Danny to go scavenge for some supplies, he might be able to pull it off. Okay. So think about your survivor that you've got that's in your hands, and we will talk about those when we do your characters.
I was investing all my brain energy in naming my character, so I completely zoned out. What are the 4 stats, and how can I edit them?
Sure. So the sheet there, this is like the only thing that I haven't hard-coded in yet. Don't worry about editing them. Go ahead and just in your character, like, for example, you can let me grab your sheet, Horst. You should be able to add attributes. So if you look here in the attributes thing, you should be able to say savagery and then current, 2 or whatever. And then if you go, is it going to do that? Yeah. I guess if you hit, okay, yeah, it doesn't work that way. If you do edit, you can just put it under bio and info. Savagery, soul, steel, and survival. And then you're also going to want stress as a track. 0 of 5. Cool. And we'll just do that for today. Cool. Awesome. And then the stats, again, if you look at the basic move sheet, you'll see savagery, about pushing people around, soul, about connecting with them, steel, about holding your own, survival, about getting through tough situations. Okay. Now you'll notice that there are basic moves and zombie moves. Basic moves are for dealing with other survivors. Zombie moves are for dealing with the undead. In general, if it's 1 or 2 zombies, dealing with the undead is very easy. They're not very fast moving. They're not very smart. As long as you don't get too close to them, they're not going to give you any trouble. If you do get close, you can still grab one and smash its head against the ground. You're smarter than it and stronger than it. But you might have to draw a bite card. Okay? And in fact, anytime you get too close to the zombies, you're going to have to draw a bite card. Bite cards tell you what happens. Sometimes it's there are more zombies. Something about what you did attracts more of them. Or maybe something breaks, including you. You could break your arm or something. Or, and there's only one of these cards in the bite deck, you could get bit. When you get bit, that's it. Your character is doomed. I will tell you when you go. Or if you're like Jason Cordova, you go a whole session and a half without telling anybody you got bit and eventually turn into a zombie in a very close environment. Cool. All right. Now, when we draw, we're going to draw from the survivor deck, and I'll show you that while we start to wrap up character creation here. What happens is that the survivor deck has a variety of like hits, misses, all the things we're going to need. And when you draw from it, you can just deal 3 cards. I have to go to a player. I guess we'll just draw 3 cards. Just draw. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I draw 3 cards. Miss, edge, and miss. So in this case, I would take the best cards, right? I would take the best card for me. So in that case, I'm not going to want these misses. I'm going to take this edge, and I'm going to put these misses off to the side. So I'm going to say I have an edge for this move. Okay. And when somebody interferes with you or helps you, they make a draw, and they can replace one of your cards. So if somebody is messing with you, then they're going to draw some cards, and maybe they'll replace your edge with a miss, right? And that's how they interfere. If nobody interferes, you just get the best card that you drew. Okay? And then we reshuffle every single time. So we always recall, we always shuffle for when it comes to survivor cards. So it's always the same probability for that deck every time. Okay. The bite card, the bite deck, we're not going to reshuffle until it is time for someone to die. Okay, so every card we draw that's safe means there's one fewer safe card for the next time you draw. Right. So if I kill a zombie with a hammer, say cool. I, as the MC, I'm going to tell you to draw a bite card. Oh, that's it. You're done. You got bit. And that's and apparently we just found out that my character was like died in the cold open of the show, right? Like womp womp, right? And we get a new character by the way. But don't worry, see, you were all saved. We're gonna recall and shuffle this, and I'm sure that the bite is not at the top of the deck anymore. It could be anywhere in there. Okay. Any questions? No. Okay, cool. I think it's probably time for us to introduce our characters. So. I'm going to go ahead and start with Horst and work our way down this list here. Is that cool with everybody? Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about Mike Panazzo.
Yeah. So Mike is the butcher. I don't know what else to say about him. I'm not revealing my secrets, obviously.
All right, good. Well, so what does he look like? What do people know about him?
I think he's tall and strongly built. He has long hair and a beard. It looks a little bit like you, I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he looks a little mountain man-y.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, good. Do people have any rumors about what he used to do? I mean, he does bad jobs. He takes care of bodies. He does things people like walk away from. What do people say he used to do?
I think the rumor about him is that he actually enjoys getting rid of zombie parts, which is totally not true, but that's what they say.
Okay.
And he's not afraid of getting his hands dirty.
Okay. Awesome. Love it. Okay, good. Yeah. That's great. We're going to find out more about Mike as we go through the game. That's awesome. Let's talk about Liam. So, Patrick, tell us about Liam.
So Liam is, I think, mid-20s, sort of shaggy, unkempt hair and look. He is the archivist of our enclave.
That's really sweet.
That seemed like, the most useful person to have in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
But I think what people would know about him is, and it's part of why he was chosen, got the archivist job. It's like his handwriting is beautiful and immaculate. He does a lot of artwork to take records of things, and it's sort of sketchy and punk and a bunch of colors, but I think people probably assume he was an artist or something.
Cool. So he has kind of a kid vibe, like he's young, young. Yeah. Is I get the impression he's actually kind of sweet. Does that seem like he seems kind of kind to take all these records and do all this work?
Yeah, and I think people really tend to open up to him, and he gets really good stories and accounts of things out of people. That's
awesome. That's really cool. That's great. Yeah. That's the kind of character I could not imagine anybody making in a typical zombie game. Is basically I'm a sweetheart kind of zombie bait, right? So thank you. That's wonderful. I love it. Great. Next up, actually, so one more thing. So how did you end up here at the hospital? Do you talk about why you ended up here?
I don't think I talk about why exactly, but I think I showed up just after the huge fire, and I had my clothes were half burned. I was covered in ash. I was obviously part of that somehow.
Okay, great, cool, good, great. Sharon Kyle, Jesse, tell us about Sharon.
Yeah, so Sharon is a woman in her late 40s, maybe early 50s, who a lot of people think looks sort of familiar, but isn't quite sure why. Especially people who work around the hospital. She looks like someone maybe they've seen before. She's fairly tall and well built, and there are rumors that maybe she used to be some kind of an athlete of some sort.
Okay.
But she currently is the contrarian of the group, and is the naysayer who says things are not going as well as we think, and that we are pretty much doomed unless we change plans.
Right, and remember the important thing here is there's not an official contrarian title. There's not, you were not voted contrarian necessarily, right? It's just everybody just knows, like, well, here comes Sharon. She's going to tell us why we fucked this up, right? Why we're doing it wrong. And you have a very specific move for this, right? Which is that when you speak a hard truth to a group, this is what's going to happen. So remember that I can't always see your moves, right? They're in front of you, not necessarily in front of me. So call them out when you want to make it. Be really explicit and say, I want to say a hard truth, and we'll do it. Okay, cool. And remember that the clearing of stress is a thing that your present tells you how to do as well. And so remember to call that out as well. All right, great. And last is Alexander.
Yeah, he is the mediator. I'm not quite sure like how he came to be the mediator. I think he's an older man. He's in his 50s. I've casted him as Lars Mikkelsen, who's the President Petrov in House of Cards.
Yeah, great.
So I think like he is pretty much just like this pretty calm person. I think probably is why he's a mediator, and has like this presence. And it's a little, but nobody really. I think he was a patient, so nobody really. I don't think he really knew anyone here from before.
Oh, that's good. What were you in the hospital for?
I think like a broken foot or something like that.
Oh, that's good. Okay, cool. So you had some sort of mundane injury, and it's trapped you here at the hospital.
Yeah,
that's good. Okay, wonderful. So remember, you get +1 steel for being the mediator. So great. Okay. So we should be all set. The important thing now is for us to do some relationships between you all. So I haven't uploaded these cards, so I'm just going to draw them here and ask them. But basically what we do is we give you each a card sort of between the two of you. So I'm going to read off the question, and then the person that I directed at will have the final say, but we can, of course, talk a little bit about it. So, so let's see here. We'll start with Mike and Liam. So you two have a relationship. We'll go with the two of you agree that another member of the enclave needs to go. Who is it and why? Now remember, there are all kinds of other people. It doesn't sound like one of you two is our doctor. It doesn't sound like one of you two is our city official. So those are both NPCs. There's also other patients, other people who are here. So we'll let Mike make the final call here. But Mike and Liam, who is this person that you both agree needs to go?
Is it another PC? No.
No, it could be if you wanted, but it could also be an NPC. So we've got Liam and Mike, who are like the sweetheart and the monster, right? That everybody's scared of. Both agree this person is trouble. Who is this person?
I don't know. I sort of feel the city official like trying to pretend that he's still important or has a purpose here.
Yeah.
Would that match up with you, Mike?
That sounds like, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
great. That sounds super fun. So let's grab, I think we probably have a decent population card for this. Let's see if I can grab one real quick. I believe, let's try Mr. Clayton Mathis, who is a county prosecutor. And we'll say instead of a county prosecutor, he's maybe like a deputy assistant mayor or something. And he has decided that all of this hospital needs to be under his control. And he's pushing really hard for them to not let anybody else come to the hospital, close the gates, make sure that we lock down here until the military gets to us. He's pushing people around, and the two of you both think he's got to go. So, I mean, I think I know how Mike would take care of this problem, right? So, Liam, how would you feel about Mike doing his thing here?
Well, no. I mean, that's obviously not the answer. Like, we'd vote on it. We'd tell him he was banished. I mean, we'd probably give him some like food or something, and then he'd leave and never come back.
Mike?
Liam is so naive. He will end up.
All right, good. So there's some real disagreement here, even among the agreement. Good. So let's go with Liam and Sharon. Let me shuffle these up. So Liam and Sharon, the two of you have done something awful for the Enclave. What was it? This is Sharon's, or this is Liam's call ultimately, but let's chat. So, what awful thing did you two do for the Enclave?
Could we have like gotten rid of a bunch of the weapons for some reason, or like?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's cool. What do you think, Liam? Would that be a thing that the two of you would have done?
Yeah, I could see that. Like there was this movement to like arm ourselves and just shoot anybody that came near to not take any more chances with stuff.
And the two of you just made sure all the ammo disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not a problem, then it's not a problem, right?
Look at Mikhail's face. No, that's great. So you actually caused the scarcity of weapons to try to keep the Enclave safe, like for the Enclave's well.
Yeah, it was for the good of everybody.
Okay, awesome. Good with you, Sharon?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, good. All right, Sharon and Alexander. The two of you had a relationship well before Z-Day. Why is it strained and distant now?
Does that mean that we need to know a bit about each other's past, or?
Well, we can leave it vague for right now. We're only asking about what makes your relationship strained and distant now. We don't need to define the whole thing.
Got it.
Do that as we play.
Okay.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. It's like, oh yeah, but we don't know about the past really. So I think, I don't know. Actually, I don't have a good.
How old is your character again?
I think like in his 50s.
Okay. So I have this this NPC. I mean, that could be an option too. There could be a love interest there. I was going to say I have an NPC who's like younger and maybe used to be connected to you somehow, and I sort of took her away from you.
Oh, interesting. All right, so there's some relationship drama, like you two had a relationship of some sort, but it has had a falling out and you've not reconnected.
Right.
Is that cool with you, Mikhail?
Sure.
All right, great. So we'll find out as your pasts come to light, right, what is really happening here. But the two of you have a strained relationship. Cool. All right, Alexander and Mike, and this is ultimately Alexander's call, but the two of you have a plan to improve the Enclave. What is it?
Get weapons.
Yeah, get the
all right, that's is an excellent plan. Where would you suggest that you get these weapons?
Maybe go to the ruins. What other facilities are around there?
Yeah. Maybe also if Liam and Sharon got rid of the weapons in the first place.
Right. I mean, you might go to the mall.
Yeah, they have. I mean, I don't know. Do they? Of
course, in the United States, they have weapons balls.
There's Walmart there, so.
This is America, sir. There are weapons everywhere, but especially at a sporting goods store in the mall, right? You'd probably have lots of ammo there if you could find one that hasn't been looted.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay. Great.
It's
cool.
good to go out.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, cool. So that's good. Let's introduce our allies real quick, and then we'll take a 5-minute break, and we'll come back and hit it hard. So tell us a little bit. So, Mike, who hangs out with you? Who's this person that that has become your ally?
It's Juanita, and she's a shady character. She deals in drugs.
Well, she did before. I mean, there's probably not much drug trade now, right? So this is who she was before the apocalypse. But she's pretty good at bartering, intimidation, and manipulation. So she's a hustler.
That is a skill set that you need when you sling drugs.
Yeah. So why have you two become close allies?
I think I was a customer.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
I knew from before. Recreational drugs, obviously, nothing serious, or so I say.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's good.
And I was glad that she survived because I know about her skill sets.
Awesome. Good. So you two have a previous relationship. Good. Okay. Next up, Patrick. Let's hear about Liam's allies.
So just weirdly and inexplicably, my ally is Ryan Junghua, a cop whose skills are violence, intimidation, and leadership. Totally simpatico. But I think the reason why we work together, why we're friends, is he's like, for one, he's very detail oriented and has this mindset of like patrolling and watching things. So he's constantly bringing new information to me about what he sees in the surrounding areas or how things are changing.
Yeah.
He also brings me like histories and reports on people because he's not as good at getting people to open up as me, but he's very used to and skilled with like interviewing people for information and stuff like that.
Sure. I mean, it also might be the case. I think that's great, but it might also be the case that he's like your uncle or something. Right, like allies could totally be like family members and things, or having other relationships. So
I like that.
You like that? Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of awkwardness there because he's a cop who like thinks shooting people is a reasonable response to problems, and you're like not that, but he is related to you. Like he's known you since you were a kid.
Nice. I like that.
Cool. All right, great. Let's hear from Jesse. So Jesse, tell us about Sharon's ally.
Yeah, so my ally is named Elena, and she used to be a musician. She also apparently has a small drug supply. I don't know how that's connected to Juanita, but could be. And I think the reason we have a connection is I didn't trust her involvement with Alexander. Like there was something going on there that didn't feel good to me, and so I kind of took her under my wing.
So you've actively tried to pull her away from whatever relationship she had with Alexander.
Right.
That's great. All right, so Alexander, before we hear about your ally, what was your relationship with this woman like?
Actually, I think she was my lover.
Okay, great. So she came to visit you at the hospital, and now something has fallen apart after Z-Day. That's poor Alexander. He's in a rough go. Society collapsed. His lover leaves him. It's tough. It's good. All right, so yeah, Alexander, let's hear about your ally as well.
Yeah, my ally is Virginia Kempf. I think she used to be a burglar, and I think that fits pretty nicely with. I think what people don't understand about being a mediator, it's not really about being able to talk to people. It's just being inexpendable. And the way this works is that Virginia gets stuff, and I provide for people.
Okay, cool. So you have an alliance of convenience between the two of you to survive. You're intent on surviving after this apocalypse.
Yes.
Awesome. Good. I love it. Okay, cool. So we've got a good cast of characters. We've got our allies. Please make sure to update your savagery, soul, steel, and survival in your character sheets. You can do so by hitting the edit button and then assigning all those values so we're ready to start. Let's go ahead and take about 5 minutes. We'll come back and go ahead and get started playing. Does that sound good? Cool. All right, great.
So the stats add up to +1.
No, it should be 1 at 3, 2 at 2, 1 at 1. No negative stats. Every
One?
stat tells 1 at 3, 2 at 2, and 1 at 1. And each one tells you how many cards you're going to draw. So if you have a max of 4, means you're drawing 4 cards. Minimum of 1 means you draw just 1 card and live with the result. Okay, so we have got our whole enclave set up. We've done our allies. We've built our characters. Now it's time for me to draw a time passes card to find out what sorts of problems and challenges will beset the enclave for this session. And the time passes card says your surroundings spawn opposition. So we're going to play, and I, as the MC, am going to bring this card into play as we go forward. But much like Apocalypse World or any PBTA game, we're just going to see kind of where your characters are at, what they're doing in a typical day, what that looks like. And as we go forward, we're going to hit some moves. And so when it's time, we'll take a look at making our first draw based on whatever basic moves or zombie moves might come up. We'll also see about defining some of these other characters like the doctor or patients as we go forward. But does anybody have any questions before we get started? Great, cool. So as I recall, Mike and Alexander have been talking about going into the mall to get some guns, right? So what kind of preparations have the two of you been making, and what do we like get ready to go? Like you're kind of on the, like you've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. The weather is pretty clear today. It's getting to be fall, so it's getting a little brisker, a little cooler in the morning. And as we sort of open up our the Mercy Hospital show, we see the two of you getting ready to actually go do this thing. So Alexander, what does that look like for you? What does it look like to get ready to go scavenge?
I think actually, like he's been trying to find stuff to make weapons of. So he's kind of like, I think he's attaching like a piece of glass or something to the end of a crutch or something like that.
All right, great. So you've got some makeshift weapons, maybe a crowbar or two in there, but yeah, no guns, right? Like this. So you're sort of getting ready to go. How many people would you take with you? Would you just take you and Mike, or would you bring allies along?
I think like it's known that we're going, and I'd let anyone who wants to come join, possibly at their own risk, of course. But definitely, I'm taking Virginia.
Okay, good. And so it's kind of an open thing. If you want to come with us, and it's up to you. But don't expect us to save you if you get in trouble. Yeah. All right, Mike. What about you? What would you be doing to get ready to go? Same kind of thing. Are you as open about whoever wants to come?
Yeah, I'm pretty open. I think we see Mike on the roof of the building near the helipad, and scanning the environment, trying to get an idea about the best route to the mall. Is it crowded at the moment?
Cool. I mean, if you'd like to, you can take that helipad up and take the helicopter out and see if you can find things. Do you know anything about flying helicopters?
No. I mean, if somebody knows, then Mike would try to get like a lesson or something.
Sure. Let's say there is a woman who she as you're kind of up, using maybe a pair of binoculars or whatever you're kind of doing to look out over the thing. You know that the woman who is a mechanic here, she maintained the helicopter, maybe even flew it. You're not 100% sure. She comes out, comes onto the helipad with you, and you hear her say, "You need something, Mike?"
Yeah, we wanna we wanna hit the mall today. If you could give us a ride, that would be super sweet.
You want me to land this thing on a mall?
Well, you're the pilot. If it's impossible, it's impossible. But you want a gun, don't you?
All right, cool. So it sounds like you're making a move here. So let me switch over here to the moves. There is a move called ask an NPC for help. And the key here is they have to be friendly or neutral. So this woman, you're not even sure what her name is, right? Like, you've just seen her around. But this mechanic, she's fairly neutral to you. You haven't ever had a negative experience. She's fairly neutral. So you're going to draw with soul. And on a triumph, they'll do what you want if you give them a bribe or a motive. On an edge, I'm going to tell you what it'll take to get the NPC to do what you want. Do it and they will. So in this case, what is your soul?
My soul is 1.
Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to draw just one card from the survivor deck over here, and we're gonna live with the consequences.
So 1 draw, and it's a miss.
All right, cool. So because it's here in your hand. Yeah, cool. Let me put this in here. So great. Yeah. So as a miss, I get to say what happens, right? So on a triumph or an edge, it would be very specific. On a miss, I say what happens. She says, "I'm not going anywhere with you, and I'm certainly not going to the mall." And she walks over to the helicopter, and you can see that she tugs on the lock that is locking the like joystick to the like frame of the helicopter, like a car lock, like one of those clubs that you have, like it's like locked down, and she like tugs on it, and she's like, seems like it's satisfied that it's working, and she turns back and she says, "If you and your buddy Alexander want to go crawl off to the mall to find some guns, you knock yourself out. But this helicopter, this is going to be used for really important stuff someday. Maybe like getting somebody back who's injured or somebody who's doing something useful. Best of luck." And she just walks away from you. Now, how do you feel about being talked to like that?
Well, I shout after her, "Yeah, fuck you too, sweetheart."
Great. So mark a stress for me. Like here are these people that should be helping you after all the shit you do, and like they're just not. It's not happening, right? All right. Let's cut back down to Mikhail. So Mikhail, you're kind of getting things ready. A couple of people are kind of loitering around. Liam and Sharon might be here. It's up to you all if you've come out, here to the hospital, maybe lobby, to make plans to leave. And Liam, Alexander, as you sort of get people, start to get a count of who's really coming. You see Clayton walking down the hall, kind of looking huffy. He's got his suit on. You're not sure why he has so many suits. Like, did he bring them with him here? Like, you're not entirely sure. But he's sort of walking down the hall, and like kind of looking very, very flustered and upset. What do you do?
Yeah, I think I before he arrives, I try to get him as far, meet him as far away from all the people as possible.
Oh yeah, you try to keep this quiet.
Yeah, no, I just huff over so that he doesn't I want to try to see if I can get him as much as on his own as I can. Perfect,
cool. So that sounds to me like averting disaster, right? And the idea with averting disaster is it's a little bit like acting under fire or any of those moves that you know from other games. But the idea of it here is when you try to avert disaster, say what you're trying to prevent and draw with survival. So the attitude is you're trying to get him alone. You're trying to keep him from making a scene. Is I think what I understand.
Well, I was going to try to like get in his face, but I don't want to do it in front of everyone.
Perfect. Cool. So you want to avoid a public thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Go for it. So let's draw with survival. What's your survival?
Also 1. Great skills here.
All right. Good. Yeah. Let's make you can actually just pull the card from the deck when you put your mouse over it. You can just drag the card out. But let me, first of all, we got to recall everything and shuffle it up, and you're good to go.
I don't think I can just draw.
You don't think you can? All right, I'll draw for you then. And we'll see if we can change the settings later. That is also a miss. So as you're walking, he said, oh, no, I don't need any of your talking. I don't need you to tell me what you're going to do to fix my problems. I know that you are going to get all these people killed. And he immediately kind of escalates in front of everybody. 1 or 2 of the people that have kind of come out kind of gingerly to see, do they want to go with you? Do they not want to go with you? They start to retreat. What do you do, Mikkel?
I think I kind of like push him into the wall and like, now you listen, you fucking suit. You may have been important in your previous life, but you're nothing here, okay?
That's great. All right, awesome, good. So we'll get to that draw in a second. Liam, are you here?
Yeah, I think so. I've been wanting to go to the mall for a while, and I'm also really interested in tagging along with a mission to get more guns for reasons.
Awesome. Yeah, great. So how do you react to him grabbing Clayton?
So I have to go and try and break up a fight between our politician and our mediator. Of course I do. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So we see you very interested. Let's see, Mikhail, let's go ahead and have you, we're going to make this draw here and see how things go. What is your savagery?
3.
Extremely intense mediator. Sure. Okay. First card. Edge. Second card. Miss. Third card. Miss. Okay, so your best card is an edge. Read for us what happens on an edge.
Yes. So on a hit. Well, that's right, because that's when the edge is when I use stress to get it to.
No, that's an opportunity. We haven't hit one of those yet. So this just says on a hit. The edge is a hit. So on a hit, they have to choose.
Yeah, mark stress and escalate the situation or concede.
So NPCs can mark stress, but like only a couple. Like it's catastrophic for them. It's like harm in Apocalypse World. More than 1 or 2 is a lot for NPCs. You see his like he was kind of making a show. When you grab him, he gets kind of like like once he doesn't want to touch you, and you push him up against the wall and lean in real close, and he kind of tries to get as far away from you as possible into the wall. And when you finish, you get away from me. You don't matter here. He tries to push you away or get you away from him, and you can see he's pretty flustered. Looks like he's going to back down. What do you do?
I think I turn to everyone else and say, remember, don't listen to this guy. He's poison.
All right, great. So yeah, the everybody else in the room is kind of shocked by what just happened. You see Liam. He's pretty interested in what just occurred, but it looks like maybe he's holding back, and the rest of the crowd just goes very quiet, and Clayton just kind of slinks a little bit backwards out of the way. And is that it? Or are you ready to go?
Does he look like he wants to come?
No, definitely not. I mean, he is very he's relied on people kind of respecting his authority, and it sounds to me like you've smashed that pretty good.
Huh. I think I kind of like because like before he gets mostly away. I think I take him by like his shoulder I
Okay.
think, you know what? Actually, I think you're coming.
How would you want to convince him? Do you want him to come along willingly? Like, are you trying to like make it up to him a little bit, or are you trying to force him to come with you?
I think like,
So
well, it's a little bit of both, because I kind of want him to try to save face by showing that he's tough and coming along.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Cool. So, yeah. So one thing you might do here is you might want to try to calm him down, in the sense that he looks like he's really upset. Now, a lot of times, calm someone down is used for when somebody's angry, but it doesn't just have to be angry. It can also just be freaked out, right? So you've come at this guy pretty hard. I think at this point, Horst, if you've come downstairs, like you come down from the roof of the house, that's cool too. So as everybody's kind of getting packed up, you see that he's coming over. Now, to calm someone down, it has to be with logic or reason. So what are the logical or reasoned things you're offering here?
Like saying it, I think like I want to make the logical thing is that I want to let him save face, but also because obviously it would look bad for him as the kind of wannabe leader to be like humiliated like that.
Okay, great. So do you say that? Like you say it, you tell him like, hey man, look, you can't freak out here.
I think I say something like, hey, if you want to show you're useful, then come along.
Oh, that's good. I like it. All right, cool. What's your steal?
Also 3.
Bam.
Yeah, let's wait until I try to survive something.
All right, good. 3 cards. Here we go. 1, 2.
Oh my god.
3. All right, now this might be a good time to help, right? You've drawn 3 misses. Liam, I know you've been kind of keeping an eye on this. Do you want to try to help out?
Yeah. I'm gonna come up while he's like trying to pressure him and things are obviously going bad, and just say like loudly, more for the people behind us. Come up and say like, Clayton, I know you've been talking about how concerned you are for the supplies that we have here, and making it out to the mall. I think that's a really good opportunity to show everyone that life here can be a little bit better, right?
Great. So when you help him, you're going to draw as many cards as he has face up. And I think all we know about Alexander is that he's the mediator, right? We should have the 1 card. Right? All right. So you're going to draw 1 card here. And to do so, you have to mark a stress. So helping costs 1 stress.
All right.
Your first 1. And then we're going to draw 1 card for you. So here we go. Okay. An edge. Cool. So returning to our basic moves, when you calm an NPC down on a hit, they won't do anything drastic, at least for now. On a triumph, pick 2, on an edge, pick 1. So do you want him to keep calm for some time, reveal his true concerns, or don't hold you responsible? And remember, it's not up to you, Liam. You're not the one who made the move. You just helped out. It's actually for you, Alexander. Which one of those 3 options do you like?
They don't hold me responsible.
Awesome, good. So he says no, it's fine. You can look at he is he's looking around the room, and he almost doesn't care what you think, Alexander, as much as he cares what everybody else thinks. He says, you're right. You should go. I'll stay here and keep this place in order, and you go ahead. I'm fine. But he looks like he's kind of pulled himself together. So he's saving face by saying, "I'm going to stay here and run things here." But you go. Mikhail? Is that cool with you?
Sure.
Yeah, good. Okay, Mike, you've come downstairs. You see that Clayton's kind of like slinking off down the hallway. Picking up whatever backpacks or anything they have. There's probably about 6 people here. Sharon, are you here as well?
Yeah, I am. And I think when I don't know what happened to the mechanic, but whenever I see her next, like if she happens to come downstairs too, I come over and just whisper to her and shake her hand and stuff as she walks away.
Cool. Yeah, we'll deal with. Let's do that right before everybody leaves. That sounds good. So,
Okay.
so you're kind of keeping an eye out for her, Mike. As you come downstairs, you see basically all the PCs are here. A couple of extra folks who are coming along. People have backpacks, water. They look like they're ready to go. Do you do anything before you head out?
Well, I definitely shoot Liam a long look, and the look is supposed to give the message that was a missed opportunity to get him out of here and get rid of him. But thank you.
I give a shrug like, I tried, man. What are you gonna do?
All right, good, cool. Yeah, so there's a little bit of like furtive glances between the two PCs. That's great. Cool. So yeah, Sharon, the mechanic does come downstairs. You've met her before. You sounds like you know a little bit more. Her name is we'll say Kate.
I basically what I want to do is just make sure that Mike and Alexander, if Mike was the one who just came down to talk to her, like I want to make sure that Mike sees me talking to her.
Okay, cool.
So that he knows that it wasn't necessarily Kate's doing to keep the helicopter back. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, you two talk a little bit, and you just make sure that Mike and the others see you talking to her. That's awesome. All right. Cool. So yeah, you start to head out. Now, when it comes time to go do a thing, there is a special mechanic that we use called Make a Plan. So if you open up the zombie move sheet, you can see that the Make a Plan mechanic is when you head out into the world to get something done. So you make a plan, you use the stat of the person who proposed the plan. And it sounds to me like it was our man, was it Alexander, who actually was like, we need to get some guns, right? So it's his idea to go get some guns. How do you propose to do this, Alexander? Is it like you're just going to go out there, you're going to kick down the door of the mall, and we're going to get some guns?
I have something potentially to add in there.
Sure. Let's hear the basics of the plan, though. What did you propose to the group, Alexander, that kind of got people moving?
I think we're anticipating there being a lot of zombies there, some all after also. I don't think it's like just kicking down the door kind of thing, and we're going to try to go in different ways and then see like if there's who has luck finding a way that seems reasonably safe, pretty much.
Okay, cool. So the focus is on safety, on being careful, on taking our time. Yeah? Okay, great, cool. So the stat we're going to draw on is survival. Now, you've got some way to help here by looking at some of your maps and records.
Yeah, I was going to see what I could find out of the archive about what's going on at the mall right now.
Awesome, great. Let's do that. So let's do that first, and then we'll come back to this move. So tell us about your. Go ahead and read your card for us again.
The archivist, when you consult your records for information on the surrounding area, draw survival. And on a hit, ask the GM a question.
All right, cool, good. So let's go ahead and draw with survival.
And my survival is 2.
First one. Edge. Second one. Miss.
Ooh.
Okay.
So there's nothing about an edge particular. So on a hit, ask the GM a question. They will answer honestly. Yeah, I mean it's the mall. Surely there's some sort of presence or group or someone that's we've seen there before that claims ownership of it. Like people-wise, what's the danger we might face going there?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you have found these little hand-stapled signs on poles and things around, right? And it basically is like this symbol that looks like it was printed like with some sort of like, I don't know, like a copy machine or something. Like it's kind of off center and not particularly well laid out, right? But it's got like basically a wolf's head, right? And it's like, and it basically says like stay out, right? And the mall is known as like it's like we'll say like it's the Wolf's Head Mall or whatever. Like that's just the street that it was on or what but like whoever's there, it sounds like there's some group of people who are actively want people to stay out of the mall. Which tells you two things. One, someone's living there, which means that there must be some safe spaces, but also that the group is not particularly well organized. Like it's kind of haphazard. The message doesn't say much beyond "stay away," which isn't exactly the most tactically or strategically intelligent way of doing that, right? So it might be kids, might be somebody who maybe just be a small group of people, might be some people who aren't doing too well and they're a little desperate, but they're not. They might be violent for sure. Get a sense
Gotcha.
there might be some opposition.
So yeah, I think I have like one of those posters like folded up, and I hand it to Alexander. I'm like, look, we just have to make sure we watch out for these people. There's not many of them. I don't know of anyone that's like positively reported seeing one of them around, but they seem aggressive, and we just need to watch out for them, right?
Sure.
Cool. Okay, good. So, go ahead.
I mean, if there's people there, then I mean that's a nice change from zombies, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe we can make some new friends. I mean, this is an opportunity more than just supplies.
Mike audibly scoffs.
Good. All right. Awesome. So let's go ahead and make our make a plan move. So it looks like we're relying on Alexander's survival, but we take +1 if the plan is supported by plenty of resources and people. It sounds like you got Clayton to leave you alone. You've got 6 to 8 folks headed out there. You've got backpacks. You've got water. I'd say in terms of just going out scavenging, you're set. +1 if you're basing the plan on accurate current information. Your archivist had some information about what was going on. That's set, so +2. Take -1 if there's significant opposition that would interfere with the plan. So I'm going to say yes. Between the zombies and the people in and around the mall, that's significant opposition. But take -1 if there's significant disagreement about what plan to follow. Everybody seems to be following your lead, Alexander, so that's good. So you're going to draw with survival +1. So what's your survival?
1.
Cool. So you get 2 cards here. Now, if you look, it says that on a hit, you arrive in the middle of your plan in decent shape. So we're going to cut. We don't have to, we walk down the street. Oh, we cross the street. Oh, we cross the bridge. We're going to jump to the middle of the situation. And on an edge, some part of your plan encounters unexpected difficulties or your party splinters, your choice. On a miss, you find yourself in over your head. Okay. So we'll find out what happens with the plan. Here we go.
Is this a roll that can be interfered with as well?
No. It's just a straight roll. If you are interfering in the sense that you are offering significant disagreement, it would be a -1. But it doesn't sound like there's disagreement in the group yet. All right, cool. Here we go. 2 cards. First one is an edge. Second one is a miss. Okay, so you get an edge. Mikhail, what are you picking? Do you want to encounter significant opposition? Or do you want to split the party?
I want to split the party.
Excellent. Good. Okay, cool. So tell us, as we sort of come back from commercial break, from you all leaving out into the world, how do you end up with 2 different groups here? How does the party splinter as you make your way to the mall?
I mean, I think kind of that was it kind of was a part of the plan. And what we didn't plan was that there was suddenly like quite a lot of zombies that showed up that made us actually not being able to go back.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. Good. Yeah. So you kind of hit the mall, and you're all sort of trying to spread out, and then there's some zombies that get attracted, and suddenly you can't see each other anymore, and it's hard to communicate. Yeah. All right. Great. Cool. So who's with you, Alexander? Who would you have kept with you? And who ended up in the other group?
I want to say Sharon is with me because that's interesting.
Yeah, good. Okay, Sharon's with you. Excellent, good. And who else?
I'd say what was the NPC of yours, Sharon?
Elena.
Elena, yeah.
Yeah, and let's say it's us three.
Oh, that's great. It's super good and
Delicious.
awkward. +1, yeah, it's good. All right, so that leaves Liam and Mike and maybe 1 or 2 other NPCs. Did either one of your allies come with you, Liam or Mike?
I think Ryan the cop definitely would have come.
Okay, yeah, cool. So Ryan's here, and of course Virginia as well, who's been separated from Alexander. That sounds good. So, all right, great. So Mike and Liam, let's start with you two. So the two of you have kind of like, you're creeping along the outside of the mall, and you're trying to maybe look for one of the big sporting goods store signs or something, so you can go in that way. And as you sort of are working your way through the cars, you hear this like low moan, right, as a zombie sort of stumbles through some of the cars, right, separated from one of those larger groups that kind of separated the two of you. And you aren't 100% sure how it tracks things. Like, you've never really been able to figure it out 100%. But you get a sense that it's looking, it knows something's here, and it, like, kind of puts its hand on the window of a car, and then just kind of bumbles forward. What do you do?
I think Mike, puts himself between Liam and the zombie with a gesture, "I got this," and then tries to. I think Mike has what's it called, like a fire axe.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, like it's like a pretty serious two-handed axe. Yeah, awesome.
Which is part of a hospital, I think, normal parts. So, and tries to smack the zombie over the head.
Great, cool, good. Okay, so it's just a single zombie. So you don't have to do like a roll for this, in the sense that the zombie moves. If you'll notice, say pretty specifically that you have to roll when you fight or flee from a swarm. So a single zombie doesn't trigger this stuff. But a zombie does. If you're getting close enough to get bit, like you're going to hit it with an axe, then you got to draw a bite card from the deck. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Liam, before I say that, Liam, do you do anything to try to stop him from getting in the way and doing this himself?
No, I mean, this is just one. This isn't really dangerous. Like, you could obviously take this.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Here we go.
I'm safe. Yeah.
Oh, you were able to draw that one. Awesome. Cool. We'll put this one in the discard too. That's cool. Yeah, safe. Nothing goes wrong. Yeah. So you bring the axe down on its head, and it just splits it right down to its throat, right? Like, and its body goes kind of slack, and you pull the axe back with one foot on the body, and it just falls to the ground. And you can see like a bunch of zombies in the distance stay in the distance, right? They're not moving this direction. So, yeah, Liam, what do you do? Mike saved you from the zombies. What's next?
So yeah, I think I had like my head popping up around the cars, checking to see if the others caught any of that. I come over like, okay, I think that was good. We're quiet. Come on, there's an entrance around this corner. We just need to work our way in, and I don't know. I haven't been through this mall, so I don't know the exact layout, but we can find the place, right?
I think so.
Cool. Would you like to assess a bad situation, Liam, in the sense you want to get a full picture of like what it's going to take to get inside this mall?
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's steal.
Yep. Steal on a triumph. Ask 2, on an edge. Ask 1. When you ask on the answer, you draw +1. So let's see what you find out about this place. Ready? What's your steal?
It's a 1.
It's an edge, right? So
hey,
so part of that is like you're kind of skittish, right? You're kind of like poking your head up, like trying to keep yourself from being too exposed, but you do get a sense of where you are. So go ahead and ask one question off the list.
Yeah, I think I'll go with what's my best way in / way past.
Yeah, totally. So you see that there are a bunch of cars that have been kind of piled up, maybe not like on top of each other, but have kind of been driven into each other enough to kind of barricade one of the doors. But there's clearly a security door that's been propped open. And so you think if you kind of make your way here across this parking lot, you could probably get in through that security door.
So yeah, I pointed out, and I'm like, come on, we just need to go this way. Like, we'll stay below the line of the cars. None of them will see us. We just dash right in.
Mike?
Mike is following Liam's lead.
Awesome, good. So this little
Liam just flat out like runs for it.
Yeah, this little group kind of like runs across the parking lot. Awesome. Let's cut back to the others. So Sharon and Alexander, what are the two of you like when you're forced into this like kind of close proximity? Is it just awkward, or is it there a little bickering? Like, what does that look like?
I think at every opportunity I have to just like needle him for how bad things have gone, I just like poke at him.
All right, good, cool. What does that sound like in this particular case?
I'm just like, oh, I cannot believe that you just, this was all your idea, and how did you let it all go so south? Everyone else is on the other side of the mall right now, and we're stuck here. And now how are we going to get in?
So you do see, like, you don't have to even assess, like, between you and some of the doors, there is a good solid swarm of zombies, maybe like 20 or 30 of them that are have sort of cornered you. There's definitely zombies behind you. There's zombies ahead. You're kind of cut off from the other group. Alexander, what do you do?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to like look for. I think I'm trying to ignore Sharon and like look for the proper thing to do. But I think it's pretty obvious that he's hearing what she's saying.
Great, yeah. So is that stressful enough that you should mark a stress, or do you feel like you're blocking it out pretty well? You've had some practice, it sounds like.
Yeah. I think it's not that bad, but
okay, good,
yeah.
Cool. All right. Do you want to assess a bad situation too?
Yeah.
Okay, good. What's your steal?
3.
Oh yeah, you're great at this. An opportunity. Okay, cool. So an opportunity is a special card. An opportunity means that you can mark a stress to take it as a triumph. So it's basically like in this case, it's perfect. It's you tell me what you do to push yourself. In this case, you're like blocking out your maybe X's like nonsense, right? Or you could take the edge. It's up to you.
Yeah, no, I'll take the opportunity.
Awesome, good. So
seems good.
Mark a stress, and then you get to ask 2 questions off the list.
Yes. Yeah, I wanna see what here is most useful to me.
Great. So you, as you're looking around, you see that there is a sign, maybe even not that far from where you are, and the sign it's splattered with blood and gore and dirt. But you see that there is a very clear Dick's Sporting Goods parking right here. That this is the section people parked at to go into the sporting goods store. You are very close to it. It is there if you can get through the doors.
Yeah, and I think also the next one is then what's my best way in?
Well, in some ways it's way past, right? Because it's the zombies that you got to get through.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So in general, I would say your best way past is trying to trick them in some way. Killing them is going to be tough with the crew you have. You've got a musician and a mediator. Your butcher is in the other side of the mall, right? So for this, if you can find some way to fool them, then maybe you can make a dash for it and get inside.
Yeah, and I think what is causing the stress, like I turn around and I say to Sharon, like, okay, sure, I fucked up, okay, but look, there is the store. We just need to distract the zombies or something.
Great, go distract them.
You being very, very helpful. I'm very glad that you tagged along.
Elena is looking at you like she's just disgusted with you, right? Like you're not even sure what you did this time, right? But she's you see that she pulls out a cigarette from this little pack that's gotten pretty small, and like she turns and she opens up the door to one of the cars, and reaches in to try to push see if there's a lighter or something, while you two are arguing.
So what's your great plan today? I'm so excited to hear about it.
You know, I thought you seemed like you weren't very happy with my planning, so I thought maybe you had a contribution. But
I mean, if you're so committed to finding a way there, I'm sure we can work something out. I just think this whole plan was ridiculous notion from the beginning.
Why the fuck are you even here? I'm just.
All right. While you think,
because apparently you needed a babysitter.
all right. While you two are bickering, like what? You like, why the fuck are you even here? Right? You hear Elena like scream, right? And she tries to pull back, and you see her like half in the car, and she's got a lighter in one hand, like she has found something. The other hand, you see that a zombie has grabbed her around the wrist, right? Because there was apparently someone in the back seat, and it looks like it's like a 12-year-old girl who's in the back seat who has got both of her hands around Elena's wrist and is like pulling her closer to get bit to bite her. What do you do?
I would immediately jump to action to try to stop this zombie girl.
Cool. Yeah. What does that look like?
So I think, well, we established that we have some axes at this point. I think that's what I would have, but I don't know if I can swing it without potentially hitting Elena at the,
Sure.
So
I think it can be a kind of a complex action, right? You're grabbing her, and then with the other hand, you're gonna chop at the kid, right? Like
sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like so.
That sounds great.
Yeah, and you've got like little hand tools, like a club or a broken, like you're in the crutch with the broken piece of glue. You got stuff like that, right? So that's no problem. All right, cool. So we've got a specific move for this. When you rescue an NPC from the dead, draw steel. Okay. What's your steel?
My steel is 3.
Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, yeah. You're steely about this. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Triumph.
Well, I suppose I'll take that one then.
That sounds like a good one to take. Yeah, totally. So on a hit, you pull them to safety. On an edge, you got to draw a bite card or suffer harm for your bravery, your choice. You don't have to make that choice. You just grab Elena by the waist, pull her back. As the kid comes forward, do you just kill it? Like, do you just put the axe straight in the kid's head?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Like, not even a second thought. Just bash it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So the first blow kind of glances off the kid's head, and you see this big piece of scalp with hair on it, like kind of fall to the side. And her skin, her bone even looks like it's been kind of weathered and like aged by whatever this zombie thing is. And the second one just boom. And as the skull cracks, blood just splatters everywhere over Elena's face, right on all over. Now, as far as you guys have seen, like it takes like a bite or like. Nobody's ever eaten zombie, I would assume, to see if it changes you, right? But like, it's not like a little blood splatter is going to do it. But you see Elena kind of like lock up. She's definitely shocked and appalled. And this kid, like she's wearing like a little sundress, like she was clearly going to the mall for the day and somehow got like stuck here in the car and maybe even just starved, right? Because she couldn't get out. And the blood, just black blood, drips on the seat and out into the street, right? As you pull back. All right, let's cut to these two. So you all have ducked inside the mall. Your eyes are adjusting. It's pretty dark here. You hear all around you these this movement, some shuffling here and there, some light moans. You're not sure if it's inside stores, around. It's tough to see. But as your eyes adjust, you look out into the main sort of hallway of the mall. There's 2, maybe 3 levels. It's tough to tell. But someone has hung what look like those construction lights, right? They have kind of the backing, and then they've hung those construction lights every about 15 to 20 feet. And so there's some dim light here that you can see, but it means somebody definitely lives here. What do you two do?
I think I'm gonna dash forward to a corner where I can actually get a broad view out, or maybe up to a balcony to see multiple floors or whatever. And I'm trying to look around and see if I can spot anything that's not dead.
Great. So Virginia's with you, right? She's one of Alexander's allies. What's your relationship with her like, Liam?
Let's see, which one is she?
She's the burglar who has worked with Alexander to keep them alive.
I mean, I definitely I think we're good. I think I've asked her to look for a few things for me over the time while she's gone out.
Great. Ryan is so she and you are both kind of trying to scope out a place to look. Ryan is getting increasingly upset, right? He's like, what the fuck is the plan here? What are we doing here, Liam?
We're looking for supplies, and we're trying to avoid wolves. It's simple. We just stay out of their line of sight. We get what we need to get, and we get out of here fast.
I don't see a sporting goods store. I don't see any weapons here. I've got a few, he pats his pocket, and you can see he's got maybe 3 or 4 rounds in his pocket. He's like, I got a few bullets here, and I would rather not have to waste them on us. This is a death trap. We got to get out of here. And he starts to move towards the door.
No, man, this is fine. This is what we need. We just need to around that L up there in the different part of the mall. Obviously it'll be up that way. Just got to make our way through. Just stay quiet and calm, right? Just calm.
All right, cool. You're going to calm him down?
Yeah.
All right, go for it. So he's, what's your steal?
Jeez. Keep having to do steal. It's 1.
So part of this, right, is this conception of the character is oh yeah, I'm kind of timid, right? I only have a steal of 1, but you keep getting in positions where you're trying to convince people to cool it. So let's see how we go here. It's an edge again. That's good. So do you want to help, Mike? You're right here. If you wanted to help, you could. And it'll cost you a stress, but you could help if you wanted.
Yeah, seeing that his words worked already, I'd rather not. Yeah,
that's cool. Just want to make sure you have the opportunity. So cool. So on a hit, they won't do anything drastic. So you can see Ryan tries calms down a little bit, but you only get to pick 1 off the list. Which one are you going to pick?
I'm going to pick he reveals his true concerns.
Yeah, he says, look, we can stay here. That's fine. But he kind of pulls you to the side, right? He's like, Mike over there, do you know him? Do you know what kind of things he does around here? You want to be in a... The zombies are not the only problem here, man. Look, I love you and you're a good kid. Don't put yourself in a position where only some of us come back, huh?
No, we need to be here, all right? We need to be here.
I'm going to give you 10 or 15 minutes. If we find something, fine, I'll stay. But after that, I'm out. Out.
Good. Well, let's get moving. Stop talking.
Mike, what are you doing while these two are having this conversation? Are you scoping things out? What's your plan?
Yeah, I'm looking for, in a mall, there must be some kind of directions, where...
Oh, that's good.
Map or to look for the sports shop.
That's great. That's great. For me, that still kind of reads like an assess a bad situation, kind of relying on the map. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Great. Cool. What's your steal?
My steal is actually not too bad. Let me see. It is 2.
Cool. Let's see here. Miss and miss.
Motherfucker.
All right. So you kind of head out. Do you have like you're just trying to get to one of these signs that are closer to maybe one of these lights, so you can kind of see where you are in the mall. It's great. Cool. Mike Mike is gonna be in over his head. Do you want to help here, Liam?
Yeah. I'll definitely help.
What does that look like? Are you keeping an eye out for him? Are you keeping watch?
Yeah, I think I see like some movement off in a corner somewhere, and I grab him like by the back of the shirt and sort of pull him down.
That's great. Yeah,
Make him
I
wait
like
for
it.
a minute.
I like it. That's good. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. Let's see. What's your you only have one card turned over, right, Mike? All we know about you is that you're the butcher.
Yes.
Okay, so just one draw. Here we go. An edge. Okay, cool. So make sure you mark that stress, Patrick. So what does that bring you to? I think it's probably 2 or 3. 2. Cool. All right, good. Now, if you ever mark your 5th stress, you have to draw a new trauma. You cannot have more than 3 traumas. The third once you have your 3rd trauma, that's it. Your 4th trauma is you're no longer a PC. Like you exit to become a threat, or you don't make it. If you want to clear stress, there is a couple ways to do that. One is you can use your clear stress condition that's on your main card by doing one of the things that is true to your role. You can also open up to someone. And remember that revealing one of your cards always counts as opening up. So like if you reveal your trauma, or if you fulfill the condition to reveal your past, that's always, you're revealing something big about who you are. You might also open up with some like kind of light meta fiction. You're like, let me tell you about my kid who died during the apocalypse. Like it was so hard. You can always kind of add new things to the story that way. So, all right, cool. So yeah, you heard footsteps, not zombie shuffling, but straight footsteps above you. And as you wait for them to pass, you do manage to kind of get close to the sign, and you kind of maybe scrub off some of the dirt, and you look through to kind of find what you're looking for. So what questions do you want to ask, Mike?
What here is useful to me, my allies?
Great, cool. Yeah, you find a whole section of sporting goods. There's one really big store and 2 smaller stores.
Yeah, I pointed out to what was his name? The guy who was like nervous about the whole situation.
Ryan, the cop. Yeah, the cop.
Yeah.
It's Liam's uncle.
Yeah. So I pointed out to Ryan. See, they are the guns.
Awesome. Let's cut from that. That's perfect. It's like it's a great little moment, right, in the comic or show. Like they are the guns. Right? It's great. Let's cut back to our people outside. Yeah. So Elena is just like, her eyes are as big as saucers. This girl's brains are bleeding out. You see at least 1 or 2 of the zombies has kind of turned towards you all. You don't feel like they're looking at you. You feel like they're almost like sensing you, your life, right? The flesh that they wish to consume, right? What do you do?
Yeah, I think you see Alexander like looking over at the sports shop and then looking over at Sharon, and then like thinking for a second if this is a good distraction, and then staying.
There's nothing for Elena. Like you're not concerned about her. Is she dead to you? Are you done?
No, I mean, no. That's why I'm staying.
Awesome, good. Yeah, Elena looks just terrified. Sharon, what do you do?
Is she? I mean, she screamed at first, but does she need to be calmed down at this point? Like, do we need to bring her down at all?
I mean, you're not sure what she's going to do. So if you want to have some control over that, you might want to do it. It's also, there's a couple things, right? One is this might be a time where you want to open up to her because you can calm someone down. You can calm an NPC down by opening up to them as one of the options. Or you might want to just directly try to calm her down. And what that would do is limit how she might react, right? If you think that's a concern.
Yeah, I think I just want to try to console her and be like I'll grab a bit of my shirt or whatever and like try to wipe the blood off of her face and just say like, Elena, I know that was scary. I know you shouldn't even have been out here at all, but this is what we're doing right now, and you can do this, and it's going to be okay.
Great. Now let's make the draw. So what's your steal?
3.
Oh yeah, you're tough, right? You're very affirming. Edge, miss, and missed. So you got an edge for this one. So you get to pick one off the list.
And let's see. I mean, I think I just want to keep her calm for some time.
Cool. So you can feel like a little bit of tension between the two of you, right? Like you're being kind of hard here on her.
Yeah.
You're telling like you need to get your shit together. You need to be on this. You feel a little bit of a disconnect between the two of you. And so in terms of holding you responsible, obviously she doesn't hold you responsible for almost getting eaten by a zombie, but she has this feeling that maybe you don't have her best interests at heart all the time, right? That you're more concerned about you than you are about her. But she does kind of seem to get herself together. Alexander, you see that the swarm is starting to maybe move this direction a little bit. It's not all at once, but there's a couple more zombies coming this way. What do you do?
I think Alexander says like, hey, I get that, my past, you hate me, whatever, but it's a different time now, okay? And this is, and I think he like points towards the zombies. It's a very bad time to be.
Listen, I have a fight with you, but we have a bigger fight out here right now, and we just need to get Elena safe at the moment. So how do you propose we distract these zombies and get over there?
I mean, they're already distracted by us.
Yeah, the problem is they're distracted by you, right? So it's hard for you to move through them. Now, just remember, like zombies move kind of slow but deliberately. Meaning, like you as a PC usually have a lot of time to like do a thing, but then once the thing is done, the consequences will come to bear. So if you want to try to fool them, then like go for it, like do it. You've got a little bit of time to pull something off before they all sort of align this direction.
Yeah, I think I'll just So let's try to continue making them go over here. I think we can get an opening to run around them.
Could we? I mean, so we're in a parking lot full of cars.
Yeah.
Can one of us run and like honk a horn somewhere else so they're maybe pulled that direction?
That's workable. Yeah. Is that something you want to do?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, great, cool. Yeah. So Sharon determinedly starts to head off away from this door, and like she seems like she's got a plan. Alexander, do you let her go?
Yeah.
Okay, great, cool. So Sharon, it sounds like you're taking point. So why don't you read "Go on Point" for me from the zombie moves?
Cool. So when you take point against the dead, draw for the group and suffer alone. Draw +1 for each member of the group that draws a bite card before your draw.
So in this case, drawing bite cards doesn't make a lot of sense. Like you don't want to get close to the zombies. Your whole point is to avoid exposing yourself
Right.
to danger. Sometimes you're with a swarm, you're like, cool. 1 or 2 people draws a bite card and you fight your way out, right? Like it's a thing. But here, you just want to maybe fool them. So you're going to draw with steel, and on a hit, your efforts to mislead them work, which will make room for Alexander and Eliana to get inside. But there's some consequences that might come to bear. The 8 to 10 there should be an edge, just a typo. So it's going to say on an edge. Okay. All right, great. So you're drawing with steel. What's your steel?
3.
3. So yeah, this is. Sharon is such like a Carol kind of character, isn't she? She just is a badass. All right, let's do this. So 3 steel. 1, 2, and 3. So on an edge, this is going to be a little tough. On a hit, your efforts to mislead them work. Choose one, so you get one of these 3, and then I'm going to choose a second one because you have an edge.
Can I help on this one?
You can only help by drawing a bite card, right? That's the whole point, right?
I
She's
will.
gone. Yeah, you're gonna let it go. All right, so pick one off that list, Sharon.
Okay. Let's see. So I'm pulling from the Fool the Dead, right?
Yep. You totally have fooled them. You start honking that horn, and all the zombies kind of like as one kind of look up that direction.
Yeah, I'll just mark stress.
So you're going to take the you mark stress or draw a bite card, your choice?
Yep. Yeah.
Cool. Great. I'm going to pick you attract more zombies to this scene. Okay. So you, as you see Aliana and Alexander run towards the doors, you see zombies coming from kind of all directions, right? Like you're cut off from them. You might be cut off from your retreat. What's your plan, Sharon?
Oh. Good question. I don't think I can fight through these.
You could if you went right now, because it's a swarm. It's not quite a horde. And a horde, you're done. There's nothing you can do, right? All you can do is die, right? Like you can. There's that, but you're not quite there. Like you've attracted a bunch.
Then I'm gonna run through them as fast as I can and have my axe swinging.
Oh, you're gonna try to fight. You're gonna try to fight your way out. That's awesome. Cool. Okay, good. So here we go. Let's do this. So with fighting, remember that if you fight, if you're fighting with an axe, you're gonna draw a bite card. Minimum 1 bite card, right? You may draw a second one as consequences. So let's start with just doing the fight, and then we'll cut to some of these people who are still inside. So draw savagery. What's your savagery?
2 savagery.
Cool.
Oh, that's not good.
Awesome, good. So let's see. Let's go ahead and do a bite card to see what the bite consequences are, and then we'll do the miss. Is that cool?
Okay, yeah, that's awesome.
Cool. Kind of get some fiction for us here. Threat, something breaks. Awesome. So the first thing is like you see like there's a zombie, like this sort of larger guy coming towards you. You realize there's not really any way out of this little alley of cars. So you take your axe and you slam it into the side of his head. And when you try to pull back, his weight pulls the axe out of your hands, and the blood on it slips, and like you like stumble backwards, and the axe falls out of your hands. And you slip on the gore on the floor, like just the kind of the slick wetness of everything as you've already killed 1 or 2 zombies, and you just hit your head hard on the bumper of like a Ford like Chevy truck, or a like big Ford, like old, like with a stainless steel bumper, right? Like it's like looks like it was like a health hazard. You just crack your head on the side of it. Right? Now, what this means in terms of mechanics is, if you look on your player mat, you have a suffering serious harm move. So we don't have any harm tracks. Like there's no like, oh, you take 2 harm. In zombie fiction, you don't, like, you shrug it off or you don't shrug it off. That's it. That's all that matters. Okay. So you're going to suffer serious harm and draw a card. Draw an additional card for each true statement. So the first one is the harm accidental or unintentional?
I mean, I didn't mean to get harmed.
Yeah,
right?
Well, it's more like nobody's trying to hurt you. Like you did not get shot. You did not get punched in the face. Like you slipped and hit your head. So totally accidental. The harm isn't explicitly lethal. That's true. Like hitting your head on the back of a bumper is not designed to kill you, right? So cool. You have cover, body armor, or bodyguard. No, you do not, right? So it's just the first 2. So you're going to draw 3 cards. On a hit, you'll live. On a miss, you're dead. I'll tell you when. And that might be right now, right? So let's see. So 3 cards, and it's not tied to any of your stats. It's just tied to the fictions. Okay, you got an edge. Triumph! Okay, cool. So on a for this one. Let's read it one more time. On a hit, you'll live. On a triumph card, it's a minor but heroic wound, right? So I'm going to say that what we see as the audience is like you fall backwards and crack your head and like, you know, are knocked unconscious, but you're going to wake up in a minute and you're going to be largely okay, right? Like like you've managed to avoid some of the zombies who don't see you because you're bleeding on the floor of the asphalt. So, all right, great. Let's cut to Patrick and Horst. So Mike and Liam are making their way to the guns. Which store are you going to, Mike?
The big one.
Okay, cool. What's your plan to get there? Are you moving carefully? Like, are you trying to just get there as quickly as possible? What does that look like?
Yeah, I think it's definitely carefully. We heard already steps from people, so there are intelligent opposition that we want to avoid. Definitely, we want to avoid the light cones.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like you want to move in the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I mean, that seems to me like averting disaster. Like you're trying to avert the disaster of being discovered and getting into a big situation with these folks. Is that read right? Okay. Cool. Good. So yeah. So what's your survival?
My survival is 2.
Perfect. Cool. And again, like we can see if other characters help here if it's needed. So let's go ahead and we'll draw 2 cards here. One's an opportunity and one is an edge. Do you want the opportunity for a stress?
Yes.
Cool. What does that bring your stress to? 2?
Yeah, now I have 2 stress.
Perfect. Cool. Good. Yeah. So I think we see you all moving through the darkness. You know, you're keeping Ryan quiet and moving towards the sporting goods store. And yeah, at least one other time, you think you hear someone walking around up above you, and they remain frustratingly out of reach in the darkness. So cool. As you get to the front of the sporting goods store, you see that it's got like one of those we call like the door gates that slides down, and it's kind of like halfway closed. Right, so like you can kind of still slip under it if you kind of get down on your hands and knees or on your belly, you can kind of get underneath it. But Liam, as you're looking around, you see that there's actually like a little store that's close to the sporting goods store that looks like it sells like maps, more or less, right? Like it's a, what do you call it? Like a little, you know, see the sights of the city store, like welcome to Atlanta or whatever, right? Like it has, you can see like all these maps and things that are inside the store.
I think I see that, and I just like tap Ryan on the shoulder real quick, gently, and just like whispering to him like, while he's looking, I'll be right back. And I just dash over there.
Awesome. Good. Cool. So, Mike, you see Liam go over towards the maps. Do you wait for him or do you head into the sporting goods store?
No, we're going in. I make a gesture to Virginia and Ryan to follow me.
Cool. Yeah. I think for the most part, they will. Like they're not interested in going over there with Liam. So, yeah. So you start to head into the sporting goods store. You could tell that there are definitely some people living here at the sporting goods store. Like you see some remnants of like some food and things, some cans and stuff that have been kind of thrown out here in the hall. You definitely smell like somebody's been cooking something here. There might be tents and things that they're living in. You're not sure why they picked this particular store, but you definitely hear it. Liam, you get to the maps and you see that the whole thing is like this. Like there's a big glass door, and then the rest of it has these like it's all glass, right? It's like, but it's locked and closed. What do you do?
Like I don't have any reason to think I could pick a lock.
Seems unlikely, yeah.
I mean, Virginia could probably.
That's true. Yeah, Virginia's a burglar.
Yeah, I try and like run back across the door they just went in and like catch Virginia's attention and try and get her to come help me.
Yeah, that sounds great. So yeah, you Virginia, right? She stops and looks back at you. What do you want?
There's a lock, and I need someone with skills or knowledge, or at least a crowbar.
We're here for guns. Come on, let's go.
No. This will be important. This can find us more than just guns.
All right, why don't you make your ask a friendly or neutral NPC for help draw, right? So you're drawing with soul. What's your soul?
My soul's a 3.
Cool, yeah.
Oh, come on.
Oh. She's like, I don't have time for your bullshit. Maps only matter if the streets they're built on still exist. There's no more streets. There's no more people. Fucking grow up. And she like gets down on her hands and knees to follow Mike into the sporting goods store and leaves you just like standing there. Mark of stress, dude. The world is too hard.
Yeah, like I flip her off and go back to the map store and just sort of study it for a minute, and I think I've got like an aluminum baseball bat. It's probably something light enough for me to carry and fight zombies. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's no one around here. This can't be too loud. Just making it quick, so I'm just gonna break the glass, go in, get some maps, and run.
All right, cool. Let's give them a minute, and then we'll come back to this. But I think that sounds like a lot of fun. So cool. So Mike, you're going in to try to explore and scavenge for what you can find. Alexander, you and Aliana have come through the front doors of the same large store, right? What you're moving quick, right? Like you're running, trying to get across the field before the zombies find you. What do you do when you hit the doors, Alexander?
I look back.
You don't see Sharon. The honking has stopped, but you don't see her.
Yeah, I think I look over at Alanya and it's like, we need to get some guns right now.
Alana's like, yeah. I mean, sure, that makes sense. Yeah, where would they be?
Yeah, and I think I think Alexander is like a kind of person who has been buying guns in sporting shops before.
Okay, so he's familiar with where they might be.
Yeah, I think it just like runs for the guns.
Okay, cool. So you're just gonna like really like aggressively try to find something because you're worried about Sharon dying.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that sounds like averting disaster to me. What is the disaster being, of course, that you don't get to the guns before Sharon's in danger. Cool.
Well, good thing I have 1 in survival.
Right, I mean that's part of it, right? Like you're not. You might know roughly where the guns are, but you're not like a survivalist. You don't go camping every weekend. It's not your thing, right? So yeah, let's take a look.
I use guns for other things.
Let's do our basic moves. Yeah, exactly. Cool. So 1 in survival, you said? Still got your edge. So here's the thing. On an edge for avert disaster, I'm going to offer you a hard bargain, ugly choice, or Pyrrhic victory. Meaning like you're going to get what you want, but it's going to come at a cost. So the ugly choice I'm going to say is you can totally find the gun part of the store, but you are going to, if there is anybody here, you're going to attract their attention.
Well, that's what I'm going to do then.
Great, cool. Okay, so you grab Alanya and just go drag her along. She's still kind of stunned, and you're like looking at the signs. You see the gun, like sport, rifles and guns, and you run that direction, and you sort of come upon like the big racks, right? The ammo, all this stuff. Some of it's been pillaged already, but you can definitely scavenge it. So go ahead and make if you look at the enclave map, it has a little thing for foraging for supplies. So the first one is when you forage for supplies, you draw 3 cards from the survivor deck. For each hit, take +1 gear. Spend it to say what you find while foraging. A triumph counts as +2 gear. So basically, you need to find enough, like you abstractly win enough gear to get something. I would say you're looking for 2 or 3 gear. So you're looking for ammo, or if you find something in the 4 gear range, it might be like a really good gun that's already got ammo and stuff with it. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
not gonna happen, but let's see.
All right, so 3 cards, right? Cool. So you have 1 gear. So as you start to look through stuff, you find some small things, some things that might be useful back home, spark plugs or whatever, but you don't immediately see any useful ammo that's been picked over before. You can, however, push yourself. When you push your luck while foraging, draw a bite card to forage again and draw another 3 cards. And the idea here is this is you. You're not just looking in the big, lit, open places, but you are opening up closets and going to places where you might expose yourself to danger or attract attention.
Yep, I'm doing that then.
All right, good, man. Cool. So let's go ahead and you're going to draw a bite card and then 3 more cards. Here we go. Threat escalation. Your current situation, your current problems take a turn for the worse big time. All right, so let's draw your 3 more and we'll see what you find, okay? 1, 2, and 3. Wow. This is a really good draw. So this is already a total of 4. If you mark the opportunity, it would be a total of 6.
I am going to do that.
Yeah, okay, cool. So mark the stress.
Give me
And
some real big guns, please.
Yeah, so so as you're digging around, like you throw open this closet, you're pulling things down, you find that whoever owned this store had some stuff they were selling under the counter, right? And you find like an assault rifle, right? And next to it is like 2 or 3 boxes of big ammo.
Yeah, I'm getting that.
You get it? Yeah, so you grab it. And as you grab it, you hear Aliana say, Alex?
Yeah, I think you see like my head go up from the counter and it's like, what?
You see there's 4 or 5 people, all of whom have guns out, pointed at her. And one of them, this woman at the front, she's wearing like this like vest, right? Like a hunter's vest. She's like, do I know you two? I don't think I do. Now, she doesn't see that you have the assault rifle. Like, you're below the counter, right?
Mm-hmm.
She says, y'all go ahead and step back from there. We've already taken everything that's useful.
Oh, yeah?
Aliana looks back at you, looks at them.
Look, I don't know who your kids are, but this is not the fight you want to pick.
Whoa, is that a getting in her face? Are you gonna push that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Is it cool with you if we cut away from you for a second before you draw?
Perfect place for doing that.
That sounds good. All right, so it's an interesting thing. So Liam, you are going to break into this map store. Mike, the butcher, is the only person with the "I'm going to go around carefully until I find what I want" plan. So Liam, you are trying to knock down this, like crash through this door and get at these maps. I don't think this doesn't feel like a draw to me. Like if you hit a glass door with a metal bat, it's gonna break. So this is about scavenging, and you should just know that it's gonna be loud, right? Like it's gonna be a loud experience.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I don't imagine it's going to be that loud. How loud could a door of glass breaking be?
Yeah, how loud can it be? Cool. So I think you're going to scavenge here, and we're going to see what kind of information you find. Cool.
Cool.
All right, great. So 3 cards. 1. Why is it giving me cards? So you just deal 2 more cards. 2. It says that it's out of cards. I don't know why it would say that. We're just going to redo it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, an edge is worth 1. So you bash in the door, reach around and pull open the lock. And as it swings open, you sort of start to immediately kind of look over things. Most of these maps are actually not really for this area. They're like maps of Atlanta that are like, or wherever we are, that's like, touristy kind of shit. You do find one like directory of like public things, like public sites that might be useful. But then you sort of turn to the side and you see that there's like kind of a back room. There's some spaces that aren't so well lit. If you want to push your luck here and forage a little deeper, you might find something more.
I mean, I didn't vanquish a mighty door just for like one public directory.
Okay, cool. Then we're going to draw a bite card and see what happens. Ready?
No.
Threat, something breaks. Something in your environment breaks. The GM will tell you what. Cool. So let's draw your 3 more cards and we'll find out where we are. So 1, 2. Pull every miss in this deck, man. 2. All right, you got 2.
This place sucks.
You find something useful but small or limited. So I'll say that like you find this. You've got this directory of like public public spaces that might help you find some other resources, or at least be able to help people navigate, because they're all monuments and things that are in the area, especially as like a lot of street signs have been torn down by like mobs of zombies and looters. Like it's hard to know where you are. So the monuments might be more useful in general.
Nice.
But you also find let's see what else. Well, what other kind of things would you want to look for? Like generally, are you just looking for ways to get around, or is there other specific information about the area you'd want to know more
about? Anything like governmental or military or like official places that might have some people or like serious supplies at the very least.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, great. So you find as you're sort of digging around in the back, right? Like, I don't know if you have a flashlight or something, as you're kind of like looking through and pulling things out. You do find what looks to be like a map of a military base that's in the area, right? And like you see like where it is in relation to some other things, and like you're not sure if it's still active, but if the military holds anything, it would probably be an actual base that they can maybe seal off. So yeah, you definitely find it's limited, like it's only one base, but you do find the location of a base that you could take people to, or at least go check out.
Nice. That's
Cool.
That's at least something that I don't have to come back in shame.
Right. All right. Now, if I remember correctly, that's enough for you to clear a stress, right? You acquire new knowledge about the current state of your surrounding area.
Yes.
Awesome. Good. Yeah. Go ahead and clear stress. So, Mike, you're kind of piecing your way through the facility with Virginia and Ryan, both of whom are kind of moving silently with you. You are kind of walking through the aisles, keeping your head down, when you hear somebody whispering kind of furiously close by, "Somebody's messing with the guns." And you hear a couple of people get up and move away. And as you peek your head around the corner, you see that they've got like weirdly like a little like fire pit, like you would have like in your backyard, and then some cans of food and stuff around. And these 3 or 4 or 5 people, it's hard to tell because they're moving, all seem to like abandon their little camp and head away from where you are. Virginia eyes that food and looks back at you.
We'll get the food later. Let's take care of them.
Take care of them? What, you want to get in a fight with them? They have guns. We don't have shit.
Yeah, we want these guns.
Look, it's clear that somebody else is already here. So why don't we take this food, fucking go check out the other sporting goods store? What's the point of fighting with these people? They have guns. We do not. It's like, she's like lifts up the crowbar she brought. That's like a hand crowbar. She's like, this, what do you want me to do? Beat their head in with this? They're not fucking zombies.
Yeah, but they are distracted and we are behind them. They don't hear us. If we don't fight with each other, we have the advantage.
Ryan's like, you're talking about murdering folks. We don't know these people.
It's self-defense. You know what I'm talking about. You're a police officer.
Self-defense. No, it's not self-defense. You're exactly who they say you are. And like, you could see Ryan like stepping back. Like he's like, fuck this. I'm out. Remember, he didn't keep calm for some time. Ryan's suspicions were only delayed. Right? What do you do, Mike?
So he's backing away. What is Virginia doing?
She's a little bit more torn. Like she kind of gets where you're coming from, I think. Like she doesn't necessarily want to, like, Ryan's like, I don't want to do this. This is crazy. But Virginia's like, I would be open to doing this, but I don't have a gun. like all I have is this crowbar. So she could maybe be convinced, but I think Ryan has moved to hostile to you. He doesn't trust you. He's backing out.
Okay, I take a step closer to Virginia and I say, listen, we sneak up on them. They're distracted. Something's going on. We don't know what it is. But if we come up behind them, they have no chance. Your crowbar is as good as an AK-47.
Great, cool. So do you see that as asking her for her help, or are you trying to like make your pitch and calm her down and get her focused?
Yeah, it's let's see, I don't want to, what does it sound like? I would say it's reasoning.
So that sounds like calm an NPC down. Like you're trying to get her to like stop, like be cool. We can do this. Just stay focused, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, go for it.
So my steal is 2.
Okay, steal 2. Here we go. 1 and 2. Miss and miss.
Obviously.
She's like, yeah, all right, yeah, cool. That makes sense. Ryan takes a step back from the both of you, gets his gun and puts it up. He says, I'm not going to let you kill these people. Virginia, like, looks over at him kind of surprised, crowbar in one hand, looks back at you. What do you do, Mike?
How far is he away?
He's like he only took 1 or 2 steps back, so he's pretty close to you. I mean, he's got a gun. You don't have a gun, but he's not so far away from you that he would get multiple shots off before you tackled him.
Yeah, I mean, I have to do it. It's what I do. I make like a gestures if I give up, and I use the momentum to smack him with the axe.
All right, cool. So let's pause there. Let's cut back to our AK-4 our assault rifle wielding mediator, who is now currently behind the desk of the sporting good gun section, and we'll come back to you guys in a second. Okay, Mike? Cool. Good. Okay. So actually, are you guys cool taking like a 5-minute break? And then we'll come back and do the second half. Cool. All right. It's a great place to pause. And then Sharon, we're going to get you back in here too, because you're going to come to relatively soon. All right. 5-minute break and we'll be back.
Jesse, I want to tell you, I moved up an impossible wait list and actually managed to play Girl Underground with Lauren this morning.
I know, and I started listening to it already.
It's
It
so
was
good.
fabulous. I love your Thunderbird. Oh my god, all of your silly like cartwheel cat names for her.
I spent
perfect.
half of the game just racking my brain trying to come up with something wrong to call the girl every time.
It was so good. I'm so excited to finish listening to it. I'm glad you were able to play it finally.
Oh, it's super fun.
Okay, we're back. So we have two super tense situations going down. We still have a threat card to resolve too for Liam, who's gotten himself kind of in over his head in the little map store. But let's go ahead and start with our mediator who has decided to threaten the people threatening him. So remember, just to be clear about this, they can choose to mark a stress and escalate. And when they're going to escalate, they would escalate to probably shooting. So keep that in mind. Are we cool?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you get in someone's face, draw savagery. On a hit, they have to choose mark stress and escalate the situation or concede.
Yeah, I think I'm going to use this opportunity though to draw in my past here.
Oh yeah. Okay. What is it?
I think like when they say, "Do I know you from somewhere?" I think he says, "Does the Serbian butcher ring a bell?"
What is your past?
It's ex-convict.
Great. And your crime is what?
I think like the nickname is from like illegal underground fighting rings, but he was known as being like an extortionist for the Serbian mafia.
Oh, that's great. Cool. Yeah. And maybe like you even like the case that you went to prison for, you like killed a dude. It was like in the papers and stuff, right? That's awesome. I love it. Good. So what do you get for your past?
I get to draw +1 when you try to escape a physical danger.
Oh, good. Okay, great. So you have a +1 to this roll. And what's your savagery?
It's 3.
Great. So you're drawing 4 cards here.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, and great. So you didn't really even need more. That's good. Cool. So yeah, triumph, huge triumph. Like all of them kind of look back and forth at each other, that uncertainly, and the leader says, "Man, we don't want any trouble. You want some guns? And we come to a deal." But they take a step back.
Yeah, and I think I get up from like under the like the counter and like with my assault rifle.
Yeah.
And
they definitely take a step back then. They're like, holy shit, right? Like they have like handguns and maybe a rifle. They don't like the woman's even like, what the fuck? Where the fuck did you get that?
I suggest you piss off.
They start to move backwards. Okay. Now, back in with Leah or back with Ryan and Mike. Mike, you are going to grab Ryan and or you're going to hit him with the axe. Is the idea, right? You're just going to kill him. All right, great. So if you look, this is our first turn to violence. When you turn to violence, you're going to draw with savagery. You do trade harm. Now you can pick to suffer little harm with your roll, which means you would like it would be like a glancing wound instead of serious harm. Okay, so here we go. What's your savagery?
So my savagery is 4.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. So your best card is an edge. That's I think pick 2 off the list. Which 2 do you want?
Can I ask, just mechanical in here, what's the difference between harm and terrible harm?
So harm is generally like if you're hitting him with the axe, you would wound him real bad. Terrible harm is you hit him in the side of the head, right? Like harm is I shoot you in the gut. Terrible harm is I shoot you in the head, right? Like you are dead. Like this person is done unless they have some specific, body armor or something that might save them. But terrible harm is terrible. It's bad. And you look terrible doing it, right? Like it's also the case that other people will react to you like you are savage, right?
Interesting. Cool.
All right, so what are you going to pick, my man? Mike, what do you want?
The first two, so inflict terrible harm and suffer little in exchange.
Great. So that means you're going to accept that you need to mark stress, and you're going to accept any collateral damage.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So first, in Zombie World, doing harm to other people hurts you. Like you have to mark stress because it's stressful to hurt people, right? So what does that bring you up to? 3 stress?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So how do we know that this is like kind of hard on Mike? Like, do we see you have to like kind of steel yourself for it before you do it?
Probably afterwards, I would assume that his hands are shaking.
Perfect. Great. Cool. So you kind of like go back and then like bring it up, right? And like try to catch him with it. And you're holding almost just the very end of it to get the most reach you can. And the axe head just goes right into his jaw. Just bam. And as he does so, his gun almost involuntarily, like he pulls the trigger and just Virginia catches a bullet just directly in the chest. Just boom, right? He goes flying backwards and she slumps down next to you. You're unharmed, like totally fine. Both of them are probably dead. Liam, you hear this like you hear gunshots, right? You hear a crunch. You start to move, and as you do, you actually trip a little bit, like stumble a little bit, and you feel something in your ankle kind of give away a little bit. Like, right? It's not serious harm. You're just hobbled. So you're kind of moving to kind of, like go as fast as you can. It's the kind of injury that maybe it would go away if you slept or maybe took a day or two off your foot. But like right now, it's definitely hobbling you a little bit. You make a little bit more noise. You're a little bit slower. Do you try to head into the store and see what's happened?
Yeah. If something's going down, I want to get up there and help.
Great, cool. Mikhail, is Alexander heading back outside? Great. Okay, cool. So I think we're gonna have some nice PC confrontations here. So Mike, what do you do with these 2 bodies? do you check to see if Virginia's alive? What's your plan?
First, I take the gun of Ryan, and then I walk over to Virginia and check for vitals.
Yeah, that sounds good. She's dying. Like if she has any chance at life, you would need to get her back real quick, and you don't even have a car. Like it looks bad. She kind of grabs at you, like you can see, like she's like her blood is kind of spurting, like it hit an artery, right? And she kind of grabs at you, like, right.
I think that is when we see Mike's hands starting to tremble, and he tries to recoil, like pull his hands back.
Yeah, she manages to get like one like blood-soaked hand around your wrist, and she's like, "Gotta tell him, tell him." And she seems like she's pulling you to try to tell you something.
Mike pulls back his hand and walks into the direction of the like he's crouching and tries to sneak in the direction where the other people disappeared.
That's great. I love it. Okay, cool. So, Mikhail, Alexander, and Alanya can kind of leave, right? The others they're backing away. As long as you keep the gun on them, they will give you room. Are you out? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You start to move towards the exit. Mike, you sort of like are moving quickly, crouching. You see probably that you see 3 or 4 people kind of moving backwards away from the gun section. You don't necessarily see Alexander, but you know something has happened. Something's caused them to kind of retreat back towards you. What do you do?
So it's 3 of them.
Yep.
But they are armed. They have guns.
They do have guns. They're facing the other direction for now, but it'd be tough for you to kill all 3 of them without attracting some attention. As you're sort of waiting and watching, you do see Alexander moving out into the lobby back towards the door. He seems to have like an assault rifle or something. Alanya's with him, but you don't see Sharon.
Yeah. So Mike's turning around, trying to prevent Liam to see the mess that Mike has caused. Okay,
cool. So you're like, great, this isn't going to work out. You turn around to try to deal with it. Good. As you move that direction, you see Liam coming towards here. It's going to be a minute before he sees them because they're obviously on the floor. So you might get his attention first. What do you do?
Yeah. So he stands up from his crouched position and makes a gesture to Liam to back off.
And Liam like sees you, and he's nervously looking from side to side and like trying to find something to hide behind.
So yeah, you don't see Ryan, you don't see Virginia, Liam. You just see Mike giving you the signal to back up.
Yeah, I'm like watching, but I'm trying to find somewhere safe and out of sight.
Yeah, there's definitely like 1 or 2 of the like displays you can kind of crouch behind. Mike, I assume you approach Liam if he takes cover. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Yeah. So the 2 of you kind of like crouch down behind one of the displays. What do you say, Mike?
Look, it's horrible. They killed Ryan and Virginia.
What? Who?
I'm so
Who
sorry.
killed? What?
Savages. They are. Let's get out of here.
All right, now there's no really moves for lying to other survivors in the game. Like there's not like a specific move here. So one of 2 things. One is Liam, if you want to press this, it might be a good time to open up to someone because you could ask him a question and he would have to answer it honestly. And that might be out of character, right? It might be an out of character answer honestly. So if you want to push this, Liam, that's great. If not, if you just want to accept it, then like, cool, that's between the 2 of you.
I don't know how convincing Mike is, to be honest. I mean, he's shaking.
Yeah. It's a little suspicious.
He's not good with people in any case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'd be pushing it in the sense of like, what do you mean savages? Where did they go? Where are they?
They're coming.
So Mike's trying to pull you away right at that point. Like he's trying to pull you away from the situation and get out of there. Do you go with him?
No, I'm trying to rush in and find who did this.
Okay, cool. So Mike, it looks like Liam's going to push away from you, head in to look for Ryan and Virginia. You're free to leave. Like you've got a clear exit if you want it.
A clear exit, not a clear conscience. Yeah, I say for the last time that they're coming now. This is suicide, and I walk out.
Cool. Okay, that sounds good. So Liam, you, I think we'll probably end this scene with you seeing them. So, Mikhail, when you get outside, are you just going to go look for Sharon? Is that the idea? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, Sharon is. I think it's great for you to come to. Right, with Alexander and Alanya, like lifting you up, getting you up, trying to check you. Alexander, you see she's got a huge like bruise, like her head is like swollen, and there's blood everywhere. But when you look, she does not appear to have been bitten.
Yeah, I think I just like tried to get in contact. Are you there? Are you okay?
Yeah, but what the fuck are you holding right now?
And like looks over at the like at the gun in the other hand.
That's what you came here for?
I mean, look, it's better than nothing.
There's still a number of zombies around here. They're kind of scattered. They're moving. You all are attracting some attention that you're living and not undead. But like, what is your plan here?
Where's everyone else? Did you find everyone?
No, I didn't. We need to get out of here.
Alanya says, there's, I don't know where they went. They're gone. We need to leave. And she grabs you, Sharon, is like trying to run away. Like, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, I follow along, but I'm like, this is what? I'm so confused. What? I'm just like running along with. Yeah.
Cool. So it sounds to me like you're fleeing the dead. Who's taking point here?
I don't know that I'm in any position to.
Yeah, I guess that's me and my great survival.
All right, cool. So when you try to flee a swarm of zombies, draw survival. On a hit, you escape and choose one. On an edge, the GM chooses one as well. So
I'm also escaping physical danger, I guess. So
yeah, plus you get one, so it's two cards. Let's
away.
And 1 and 2. This deck does like you. That's ridiculous. What is this? Cool. So you get you just pick one of these 3.
Yeah. Yeah, you run into another crisis, danger or crisis.
Perfect. That sounds great. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll deal with that as we kind of wrap up. But
no way I'm leaving my rifle behind. No way.
I wouldn't have you leave your rifle. You wouldn't leave. You leave something valuable. You don't defeat the whole point of today's session in terms of that. I would say probably like a bunch of ammo. Like you only have 1 box of ammo instead of more. But I think the danger or crisis is great. So yeah, Alanya's got this box of ammo for the assault rifle. You guys are headed out. Okay, Liam. Your uncle's head has been split open by something, probably an axe. Virginia is laying on the ground. Blood is everywhere. As you sort of are looking at the two of them, Virginia coughs. You see she's still barely alive. She tries to like lift her hand up and can't quite do it.
I rush over to her and like try and get her to stop lifting. No, stay still. It'll be fine. We can get you back to the hospital. Doctor can look at you. It'll be like we just need to. He starts like trying to hold the wound there on her chest.
Yeah, she just kind of like pats your hand and like kind of almost smiles. Tell Alexander.
Tell him what?
Tell him that I'm sorry.
Where did they go, Virginia? Which way did they go?
Who?
Ones that did this.
She kind of points at Ryan. Mike, Ryan, Mike hit Ryan. Shut up. And then she kind of passes out. So you're not 100% sure what she means, but it's pretty clear like there was a fight. Mike definitely didn't tell you the whole truth.
Yeah, I like his face just is it's furious.
Marcus Stress, man. Like this is like you like seeing your dead uncle. I mean, he is dead. Like there was no hope for him, right? Like he did like and as Virginia kind of like you feel the strength, whatever strength she had in her hand is gone. She's gone.
And he gets up and he begins like limping after Mike and then just running in that direction direction, like ignoring the pain and like the tear in his ankle.
That's great. Okay, cool, good. So, so Mike, I think for our last scene, then for this, we'll have Liam catch up to you. Is that cool, or at least get out of there? Cool. Would you wait for him outside the mall?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So the rest of the party has headed back toward the hospital. They're going to run into their own danger or crisis. But yeah, we see Mike. He's sitting on the edge of sort of the parked cars, and we see Liam kind of like limping out and hobbled, right? Like getting out of those parked cars, and you see Mike there. Do you have the gun out, Mike? Like, is it clear, or have you tucked it away?
Yeah, I have it in the belt so that Liam can see it, and I think Mike, he has the bloody hands and is smoking a cigarette and looking over to Liam.
That sounds great. Yeah, Liam, what do you do?
I think he sees that. He sees the bloody hands, and like he hears Virginia's voice just like coughing in his head. And he just screams like, "Mike, what the fuck did you do?" And he's gonna run straight at him, basically try and grab him around the waist and tackle him and knock him to the ground and start beating answers out of him. Okay,
cool. So first, if you're just gonna turn to violence, right? Like you're just gonna run at him. In a lot of ways, Mike does get to react. So Mike, what would you do as Liam screams at you and runs towards you?
Nothing. He would just sit there and watch what's happening.
Okay, great. So yeah,
like cover his face.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Okay. So Liam grabs him, and are you're trying to hurt him, or are you trying to just shake him? Like, is it actually turning to violence, or is it fall short of that for you?
I think it is, and I've honestly been struggling this entire game to parse how my trauma works, but I think this is a situation to bring it out in.
Great. Yeah. What is it?
It's I don't know how to turn it over.
That's okay. Just what is the card? I don't think it's possible to turn it over. Oh yeah.
I can't do anything with it.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what's going on. I thought I set these to be able to turn over, but what is the name of the card?
It's Reckless.
Oh, Reckless, perfect. Okay, cool. So with Reckless, you get a there's a typo on this card. Sorry, it should just be draw +1 when you suffer serious harm while charging at your enemies. So
okay, that makes a lot more sense.
So if he had pulled out a gun and shot you, then yeah, you would have taken the +1. But yeah, we get a sense that like this isn't just like, oh, he's really mad. You get a sense that this kid is like over the edge. Like he is totally reckless. He is taking chances he doesn't need to take. He is not in a great place. And as he grabs you and starts beating on you, I mean, I would take this as an open up to someone, Liam, in the sense that you're opening up about how tragically hurt you are, if you want that, or you can have it be a turn to violence. It's up to you. Kind of depends on your intent.
I think it's a turn to violence. I think he's making like the worst choice he could here.
Cool. That's great. Yeah. Okay. So what's your savagery?
It's a 2.
Groovy. That's an edge. Pick 2 off the list.
All right. Gonna resist marking stress and inflict terrible harm.
Okay, cool. So the first thing is, because you haven't marked stress, you don't need to mark anything. The avoid collateral damage maybe doesn't apply a ton here because there's just the 2 of you.
I was figuring the possibility of this is loud and there are zombies.
Totally right. I was gonna say, but there's other ways it might get worked in. You're not suffering little harm, but it doesn't sound like Mike's striking back at you. So he kind of gave you a freebie there, but you are going to hit him real hard. So what does that look like? Because it's not just, I hit him a bunch. Like you have to somehow take this to the point of inflicting something terrible harm.
I think like part of it is me trying to like drag him or like get him to fight back. Like I'm really like pushing and trying to, and I think he falls and like maybe breaks something on the curb or on one of the like the edge of a car.
Is that cool with you, Mikhail? Well, that's sorry, no, Mikhail. That actually sounds kind of accidental. Like it seems like it needs to be intentional. So, like, do you grab a rock and hit him with the rock? Like, are you going to take it there? Because it can't just be you accidentally cause terrible harm. It's inflict terrible harm. You have to.
I got you. Yeah.
Can I suggest something? I mean, you could
please
wrestle grab the gun.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Like, I see my uncle's gun finally in his waistband, and like that does not belong there.
Yeah. Do you want to just hit him with it, or are you actually going to pull the trigger and shoot him?
I think I'd shoot him. He shot Virginia, basically.
Great. Cool. Yeah. So you like you're kind of fending him off, and then he sees the gun, he grabs it, and he just shoots you right in the chest. So good. All right, let's do the suffer terrible harm roll for poor Mike here.
Where is it? On the player net?
It's on the player net, yeah. So you're going to draw a card. The harm is accidental or unintentional. No. The harm is not explicitly lethal. It is definitely lethal.
Pretty much.
You have a cover, bodyguard, or armor. No. So you're just drawing one card. That's it. On a hit, you live. On a miss, you die. So you just you put the gun right against his chest and pull the trigger, and like the burn marks on his shirt, like you could smell his flesh and his clothes burning a little bit. The smoke from it actually makes you stand up. I'm gonna have you mark a stress here. Like, even though you didn't have to mark stress for the turn to violence, you just killed this dude, right?
Fair, totally fair.
What does that bring you to? 4?
4.
Yeah. So like you stand up and you see that Mike, like no death knell, no last speech. Like, Mike is fucking dead, and there are zombies coming. You turn around and you see like there are a couple right here. One in the car next to you that kind of gives you a little bit of a jump scare as it like lurches against the car window, and you're like, fuck. But you see 4 or 5, 6 there. Mike's body will rise here at some point. That's how the rules work, man. Every time somebody dies, they will eventually get back up, but it might be a little while. What do you do?
Ground, just fuck. And I like lean down and try and roll Mike's body so that it's in the path of the most zombies coming towards me, so that maybe they'll get distracted by that and not running, but hobbling as fast as I can back, like, out of the parking lot, out the way we came.
Okay, so that sounds like Flee the Dead to me.
All right.
What's your survival?
My survival's a 2.
Okay. So
those maps.
You start to move away, and as you sort of hobble away, you think to yourself, "There's no way you're going to make this." But one of the zombies that's coming out of the corner does seem to latch onto Mike. His barely dead body, still dying body, right? And stops, like lurches onto it, and you hear something ripping as it gets its teeth into Mike's neck or something, and you start to run. You start to move. And you only have to pick one off. You still have to pick. Oh wait, you still have to pick one off the list. Which one do you pick?
On a hit. Oh, I wasted a triumph, basically.
No.
Glad to have it.
On an edge, I pick one too. So the situation.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, gotcha. These mechanics are neat. I think I suffer harm. I think trying to run this far and this fast on this ankle, I suffer harm.
Yeah, you like tumble down a ravine or something, right?
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it. So you You suffer serious harm. So let's see. The harm is definitely accidental or unintentional. It's not lethal. You don't have covered body armor, so you're going to get a plus. You have 3 cards for this.
All right.
Oh, you can take the edge, or you can mark a stress for the opportunity. If you mark a stress,
that's perfect.
it'll be your 5th one for a trauma.
Yeah, I'm into it. I'll mark my 5th stress for a triumph.
Cool. I'm going to deal you a new trauma, which comes in face down. So we won't know what it is. There you go, Patrick.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
All right, don't tell us. Don't tell us. All right. So unless you want to, you can reveal it right away if you'd like. But we'll figure it out. So yeah, you tumble down. I like the idea that you're knocked unconscious too, right? Like you tumble down the ravine. The gun sprawls out from you, and the last sort of frame of the comic or shot is you just like slumped, right? And some time passes, and you kind of get back up and manage to make your way back home. Good. So Sharon, Alexander, Alanya, you are sort of hightailing it out of here, moving along the path to back to the hospital. And as you're doing so, you see that there are a couple of trucks that are driving out from the ruined area, and 2 of them ahead, like you see them a little bit, right? Stop on the road between you and the hospital, and you see guys in hazmat suits, right? One of them gets out of the back of the truck, which looks like a big, like Ford F-150, like a big black Ford F-150 or something. Like it looks very official, and he actually like sprays down a bunch of the road with some sort of chemical or something, and then they load up and start to drive back toward you. What do you all do?
But we don't know what these trucks are. They just look somewhat official looking, you said?
Yeah, you don't know, man. You've never seen these people before. You could tell they came from that area with the ash because they smell of it. They reek of it. You can smell it from here. It's even stronger than the chemicals, the smell of fire, of a burned area. And you can see that's the direction they're coming from, because the ruined area of the city is kind of to the west of the hospital. You're having to kind of skirt around it to get back home. What do you do?
Do you know what those are, Alex?
I was like,
I've never seen those before.
where the fuck did it? Is this like some kind of government? I don't know. Pest. I was thinking like pesticides or something, but this doesn't like make any sense.
So they drove past us though, right? Like they stopped.
They're driving your direction. If you want them to drive past you, you're going to have to get down. Alanya says they're wearing hazmat suits. They look official. Let's talk to them. Like maybe they know where there's some safe places. That was terrible. We left with 7 people. We coming back with 3. Let's stop them. Let's flag them.
No. We're not. No, we're gonna get down. This does not. I don't know what that is, but I don't want to. No, No. Get down. Everyone, get down. Let's hide and let them pass. We just need to get back to the hospital now, and we don't need one more stop.
Yeah, I think I look over at Sharon and like, sure, I trust you on this.
Alanya's like, you do whatever the hell you want. And she like the 2 of you kind of flatten down by the side of the road. She gets up and starts to walk out in the middle and she's going to start waving her hands.
I like grab her by the leg and try to pull her down.
Great. So that sounds to me like an averting disaster, right? Your goal is just to get her off the road, hold her down if you need to. Like, it's very direct. You're not trying to like logic her. You're just going to grab her and hold her. right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, what's your survival?
2.
Cool. Cool. So basically, an edge is, you know, like any 7 to 9 in Act Under Fire. You could do this. You can hold her down, but after this, she ain't your ally. This is gonna change your relationship if you do this.
I think it's a bad decision, but I'm just gonna hang back. And if she wants to walk out there and start the conversation, then I guess it's her death if these guys are bad.
Great. So she stands up and starts walking and waving her hands. She's walking towards you and shouting, right, in case they turn, right? You don't know if they're going to come all the way down here. So she's walking and shouting. As the two of you look on, one of the trucks stops. She yells something. There's a single loud gunshot. And she collapses to the ground.
But they don't see us.
One of the guys hops out of the truck, sprays her down with the pesticide, her body, and then takes a flare, lights it, throws it on it. They get back in the truck.
How many are there of them?
It's hard to tell. They're a little bit of a distance. There's at least 3 or 4 in the back of each truck, and you assume some guys inside the cab. They turn their trucks and drive off. I think you both mark a stress, like somebody you both cared about. A few hours, you guys stay hunkered down. An hour or 2 later, Liam, hobbled, a little dazed, comes down that same road. Alexander, what do you do?
Yeah, I think it's been some silent hours.
It's been pretty quiet.
Yeah, and I think at seeing Liam, I think just like looks over at Sharon and says, I think it's time to go. And like gets up and walks towards Liam.
Yeah, so Liam, you see Alexander rise from like the side, like kind of unexpectedly, like from the side of the road. He's got a big assault rifle now. Sharon stands up as well. Yeah. You don't see anybody else, no, Alanya. Just the 2 of them.
Like, I think Liam sort of goes through the motions of being surprised that someone's come up, but like you can tell he just doesn't have the energy for it, and he doesn't even ask about Alanya. Just looks at you and starts walking alongside you.
Do you want to reveal your trauma now?
Yeah, the reckless one?
No, the other one.
Oh,
it sounds
no.
like you're playing. No, okay, cool.
No.
Yeah. So the 3, I think we just end this one with the 3 of you like walking back towards the hospital, assault rifle in hand, down a number of allies and survivors. Cool. Good. All right, great. Really good session. Let's do a quick debrief. So I think especially for one shots, like the whole like stars and wishes idea is great for me. Like, what was somebody's play that really rocked it, and then what would you want to see in a future session? Because obviously our delta is always like, I wish we could play 8 more times. Like, gaming is awesome. So let's talk about some stars. So let's call out somebody that you thought did a really great job. So Horst, let's start with you. Who was a star today? Who did something that you really loved?
I like Tyler's character. Sorry, Patrick's character. I'm sorry.
Fine.
I played with Tyler today. That's why. I like his character as well. So the tension between like somebody who's obviously unhinged, but on the surface is this bookish, quiet, pacifistic person. That was awesome.
Yeah, it made his breakdown at the end really good too, right? Like it really built up to it. So that's great. Jesse, how about you? Who was the star for you for today?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to give a star to Horst because that was a brutal, brutal ending scene and just so destructive and powerful. So that was lovely. So thank you for sharing that with us and your sad, sad demise.
I love that he didn't fight back. It was so sad. It's great. Yeah, awesome. Mikhail, how about you? Who's the star for you for today?
I'd like to call out Jesse for pushing my character very hard for the whole session. It's kind of nice because I really enjoyed seeing how that affected my character's kind of arc.
Yeah. There was also you embraced the contrarian thing really well, which I thought was great too. It's awesome. And how about you, Patrick? Who's a star for you?
Well, I want to give a minor star to the deck because after that whole ending scene, the trauma that I got was cruel. I clear stress by hurting PCs terribly.
No.
But I definitely want to give a star to Horst as well for being willing to, like, when you're in that confrontation with Ryan, to just push it that next extra step, which then cascaded into all the things that followed. And also, thank you for being cool with me killing you. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's very cool. Yeah. Good. I'm going to give a star to Mikhail. I loved the reveal of your ex-convict card. That was freaking great. You're like, maybe you've heard of me. That's awesome, right? That's really neat. I love those reveals because this is a hard thing to explain, but they're actually really unique because they're secret to me. I don't know who your characters are either as the GM. They're hidden. So when you reveal them, I'm like, oh, that's so good, and I didn't know about it, right? So that's really cool. Good. So wishes. I think we'll start with Horst. Horst, what would you want to see in the Enclave? Because obviously Mike's story is over. So what would you want to see next happen in the Enclave?
I would want to see Alexander taking over the whole the Enclave. The showdown between Alexander and Clayton, maybe.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Especially comes back with this giant gun, right? Is really neat. Yeah. Jesse, how about you? What's a wish for you?
So this is really self-serving, but I was desperate to reveal my past, and then even more so once we found out what Alexander's past was, because I was the guard and I was planning to be a prison guard this whole time.
Oh, that's great.
And so the fact that we had tension from the beginning, and I was like, I don't trust this guy, felt so spot on.
Oh, it's so good. Yes, that's great. I love it. Mikhail, how about you? What's your wish?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see they continue to be pushed on Alexander to be like this kind of person that everyone really thinks he is. Because and see how what that struggle would look like. Because I think he's trying to be better, but it's just like impossible.
Well, it's a really cool inversion of like the Walking Dead dynamic, right? Where like Rick is this perfect person who sometimes is a bad guy, but you're like a bad guy who everybody is looking at to save them. And I think that's a really cool, like you're a murderer, but like for other people, you're the only person they know who's like strong enough to do some of these things, which is like, it's such a weird dynamic. I really liked it. It's really cool. So, Patrick, how about you?
So I think I'll sort of echo Jesse and say, like, I had a past that I was really looking forward to working in because my past was a musician. So I could like sway people with music. And so when we started, I made this, like, he was this very sweet artistic character that I was like, okay, I'm going to find some like tragic moment that I can insert. I can heighten the emotions and stuff. And now, like, going forward, that warring with the cruelty, like, I would really love to play out, like, does that artistic part of him ever reemerge? Can he find some healing or release through his music?
Yeah, totally. It's really interesting for me because there was a little bit of like sort of action orientedness to today because you were trying to do something and you're in bad spots. That's how Apocalypse World goes. But I've never seen a group avoid opening up for the whole session, right? Like no one opened up for the entire session. And I thought it was really interesting because it's like, that's would be what I would want to see next is like, okay, cool. So now we're back at the Enclave. Horst is going to make a new character. Let's see how you all open up and explore some of these things. So so let's just to wrap up. So Horst, what was your past?
I was an addict, which is very ironic because my contact was my dealer. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's perfect. And what about your trauma?
My trauma, I have to look. Let's see. Mike. I have like 10,000 windows open. That's why it takes.
That's okay. We'll come back. Jesse, what about you? You said that you were a guard. What was your trauma?
My trauma was stubborn, which felt pretty perfect because basically I clear stress when I tell people no.
It's good, yeah. Mikhail, what was your trauma?
I was obsessive.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I think it would have been like obsessed with Liam. Actually, I decided now because he's like the innocent person, and I think Alexander is like a bit obsessive about becoming someone else than himself a little bit.
That's good.
Also musicians. Apparently, you really dig musicians.
Yeah. That's great. Liam or Patrick, what was your? We did all your cards because you were a musician. And you were reckless, and then you added cruel. So that's great. And Horst, did you find your trauma?
Yeah. So Mike is the background was survivalist, and the trauma was addict.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool. So you've been using but you were like a one of those preppers who was like ready for the apocalypse. You're ready to get through it.
Yeah, and I would have cleared stress if I shared like a vital resource.
Oh, cool. All right, good. Well, thank you all very much. That was a great game. Really excited. If you have any other feedback, we're doing a revision on the cards right now, so a lot of these typos and stuff are going to go away. But if you have any other thoughts you want to share, please email me. Let me know. Happy to take feedback. This is a fantastic game. Really excited to show what it can do. And I thought Roll20 worked really well for us in terms of getting cards and stuff. I'd love for you to be able to draw your own cards. I think that's fun, but we're getting close. Like it's a much closer system than we thought we would have to what it's like to play at a table. So it's very cool.
Yeah, this was so cool.
Good, man. Cool. All right.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
so
you
much for
all.
running it, Mark.
My pleasure. It was a blast. You guys were great. Thanks. We'll talk soon. And again, GauntletCon 2018. Woo! If you're not already a member of the Gauntlet, you should check it out. It's been a blast. Some of the best gaming I've had in years and years. So thanks a ton. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.